Hey, everyone.
All right.
Number 97 in the house.
Three
right
away.
now. We are 3 weeks away from 100.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about
glorious weeks. It's going to
100.
line up right like the first week of November.
Is it? What's today?
The 8th.
It's the 8th. So 3 weeks from that, 21, that's 29. It's right before Christmas, or not Christmas.
Right before Christmas.
Halloween.
Yes.
Weenie.
All Hallows Eve.
Halloween.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. And actually, I just so happen to have a person Snapchat me a picture that they're coloring. Do you know about this, Chris?
No.
You don't know about these pictures that we sent out for people to color?
Those? So people actually got them?
Yeah, people actually got them, the ones that I hand-delivered anyways. I don't know about the ones that went in the mail, but this person I hand-delivered it to, and she is coloring it right now, sent me a bunch of pictures of it. Looks very good. She had some questions about where your hand was and where my hand was in certain areas of the picture. Where we are close together, it's a conglomerate of lines that it is very hard to tell like what is what. And I said, you color it. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, do what you want. Like, make it look good. I don't know what else to tell you, but it's exciting to see like a partial picture being colored.
Yeah. If you get some time tomorrow when you're not working.
Yeah, correct. I do have to go to work tomorrow.
Reach out to some of the people that were supposed to get it in the mail just to see if they actually got them.
That's a good idea.
On Facebook. So
the one person replied about not getting it, and you sent another one, right?
No, I never did. Sorry, dude.
Oh, well, that's an issue. Okay. I would assume the other people that have never said anything to us after we've already told them it was sent out would have said something if they didn't get it by now, especially. Because that would have been 3 weeks ago at least.
Let's double check that. But anyway, that'll be, assuming people have actually gotten theirs in the mail, those will be due the week before our 100th episode. I think it's like the 22nd they're due. So we'll let you know that next week.
Yeah,
we'll give you the update on that. If you guys happen to hear somebody else in studio on the podcast, let me
another voice.
Flip you over Facebook Live for the
reveal,
the three-peat, the three panel.
Tree panel. We
have a guest in the studio this week.
We do. Who is he? Howdy?
Mr. Howdy.
Doody.
Gregory
Doody.
Simmons.
On my birthday even.
On his birthday.
It is your birthday. I texted you earlier.
47 years old.
Not quite. I might look it, but I'm not.
No, I was going to say you look pretty
Actually,
good
9
for 47.
years younger than that. No.
That's still getting up there.
I know. Pushing 40.
How's it feel to get into like the pension era?
Well, pension's not there anymore.
Oh, well, but you're still getting into that time frame where you're thinking about retirement. You're thinking about like Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare.
Yeah, kind of, but like
hips.
today, hips, right? So like today, I was climbing out of the semi, and as I got down, I'm like, I just totally crawled out of that semi like an old man. Like one step at a time, 2 hands on the rail. It's like Jesus,
that's terrible.
Yeah, last year I fell off the top of the semi. That was fun.
How?
I don't know.
Why were you on top of the semi?
Sometimes you got to be on the top of the semi, Jerry.
Like the cab or the trailer?
No, the trailer.
Oh, I was going to say, what?
I don't know what I was doing. One time I was on top of my semi-tanker hauling.
So a tanker, I can understand that. They're slippery.
Well, let me expound on to you what happened.
Okay.
So I'm on top of the tanker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And filling it with fertilizer, nitrogen, I should say.
Yes.
And on top, there's like a big manhole, and that's how you watch to see how full it is. But I'm too lazy to undo all the bolts to open the whole lid. So there's like a little hole that's about 3 inches. But you can't really see into. There's a little stick I use to dip in there to tell how full it is.
Sounds really good.
So I'm standing up on top of the ladder on the side of it, on top of it, just kind of trying to figure it out. Well, when you're using a 3-inch pump to pump fertilizer in to the tanker, and there's a 3-inch hole on the top of the tanker.
Do you have a vent anywhere?
That's the vent.
Okay.
You got to be pretty timely with your getting down to shut off the pump.
Uh-huh.
But I like to fill it as full as I possibly can.
Makes sense. I would too.
So as I'm just about getting ready to go down the ladder,
It's overflowing.
No, it doesn't overflow. It shoots out like a motherfucking geyser.
Really? Old Faithful?
Yeah. And just covers you, blast me with 28.
With a sticky substance.
And I
That burns.
fell off backwards off the ladder and just landed on the ground on my back.
That hurts.
Yeah, it was fun.
No, it wasn't. No part of that sounds fun at all.
But I was fine.
Climbing up there didn't sound fun. Looking in a 3-inch hole doesn't sound fun.
Nothing involving 28 or 32 is fun. It's very
fun.
sticky.
It is. It's like a green, sticky substance.
It's not green, but
I
sticky.
thought it was greenish.
It's clear.
No, it's just clear.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
Oh,
It's just yours is full of algae.
that's right.
Algae.
could be.
Bioluminescent algae.
Oh, you've tricked me
Because-
with the bioluminescent
Because
algae.
the clear 28 is scrubbing out all of your crap.
Yeah.
My crap?
Whatever. I don't know whatever it is you got that's green.
I don't know. I have no part in 28 whatsoever.
It does a really good job of finding every scratch and cut that you have on your body.
It burns?
Oh, I like sin.
Really?
We got a live comment. Happy birthday, Greg,
Well, thank you very much.
from Marley.
Wow.
Marmar.
In case people
Trucker
don't know,
Mama.
yeah, Marley,
Trucker
she was
mama.
driving the semi today.
Was
Yeah.
she?
Yeah, she's got her CDL permit, and she was.
Oh, permit. Yeah.
Greg was training her on the semi.
Nice. That was good.
She had the hang of it there.
I was talking to her at the daycare. She never told me that.
In case people in the listening audience don't know, Greg is my brother-in-law.
He is. By law.
That's
You are brothers.
yep. Sign the paper.
Yeah, it's a
It's
weird
legal.
word when you say it like that, isn't it?
It is.
Brother-in-law.
Yes. It's only by law that you are
According
brothers.
to the law.
We're going to call you brothers.
It's weird.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
I don't think it should be called
Why
brothers.
would it be your brother? Because it's your
shouldn't-
sister. So then it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. This
Your
is not
s-
incestuous.
Your sister's husband-in-law?
It should be like spouse-in-law.
No, there's a better word for this.
It's not your spouse.
We're gonna have to think
There's
about it.
got to be a better word.
It's going to have
Somebody
to
will
be
tell
like
us a better name for it. Anyway, Greg is up here doing a little farming.
doing some farming along with everyone else in our county.
Everybody in the
Yep.
world.
Yes, I see a lot of people rolling.
I was combining beans. Was that yesterday, or maybe the day before, up on 47? And every combine, I mean every direction, there was so much dust in the air
Yes.
in like the whole county.
Believe me, my sinuses have told me that there is dust in the air. Just tonight, my father-in-law and brother-in-law were combining beans directly across the road from us. And for some reason, tonight was the one night we decided to have like, let's play baseball out in the front yard. Like this will be so fun while they're combining beans. And I'm like allergic to literally everything. I can't touch things without sneezing. And we decided to be outside and we threw the baseball back and forth a couple times. I started sneezing and wheezing along with all of my small children. And it was
Asthmatic
like,
family.
oh yeah, except for the middle one. Well, Grady's not asthmatic, but he'll start like sneezing and like snotting really bad. And then the youngest has asthma terrible. So we literally stood outside for a little while and Amy looked at all of us like, what is going on? Because we're like wiping our faces, and I was like, I'm dying. I have to go inside.
You need to learn better. See, in my house, we don't go outside. The windows are not allowed to be open.
No,
we don't open windows.
To be honest, we haven't went outside for quite a few days just because we've been busy and going different places. So we really haven't like played outside the house recently. But tonight was the one night we chose to do that, and it was the only day they've been combining beans directly across from us. And the wind, of course, has to be perfect to where it just blows directly on our house. So that's what I ended up having to do is close every single window, turning on the air
Sound like
conditioning.
just a damn suburbanite bitching about
it
the,
does.
the
It does.
last farmer left in the
Yeah.
subdivision.
I texted him.
And then probably bitching because they left the windows open.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
And now the
definitely.
house is dusty.
Yeah, absolutely. So then I turned on the air conditioning just to like clear out the house. But I texted him. I texted my father-in-law and I said, hey, you need to get a hold of that whoever owns this farm across the road and tell them to quit combining these stupid beans because we're all dying from it. And he said, well, you're supposed to be wearing a mask anyways, so stop that. And I said, what is this, Chicago? And he never texted me back.
We did get a comment on here from Mr. Seedentop.
The bane of my existence.
Why are you live during a Bears game? He said.
And you're watching us. So you know why we're live during a Bears game? Because they're getting crushed by Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Before I left,
Tom Brady is on my fantasy team, so I'm cool with that. But
he's fine.
Who's the starting Bears quarterback tonight?
Nick Foles.
He is.
Yeah. He overthrew, well, he just missed a pass when I was watching by roughly 15 yards. Wide open guy, downfield. Just completely missed him.
Really?
Oh, it was bad.
But he's supposed to be our saving grace.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think we start Trubisky for 3 quarters and then only bring in Foles for the 4th because that's when he produces.
Yeah. One game. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
but
Foles.
that's like all we have to go off
I've
of.
always liked him as a quarterback, so I'm all for it. He's better than Trubisky.
You're an Eagles fan?
Get rid of him.
When he was with the Eagles?
I don't hate the Eagles.
Won the old, what's that called? The World Cup of football?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Foosball World Cup.
Foosball World Cup? Yes.
Your sister-in-law says,
Which one?
Just wear a mask, Jerry Snyder.
You know what? Don't tell me that kind of stuff. I'm allergic to your pumpkins too. So, not really at all.
Anyway, yep, David is in the combine still combining beans.
They were across the road. You're the only one.
I finished my field. I made it back. I'm not starting another field at 9 o'clock at night.
Well, you did the other night.
Well, that's true.
It's like, but tonight he can't because we have this.
No, I started those headlands at 6 o'clock the other night. I'm not starting headlands on a new field at 9 o'clock at night. Not happening because they're going to get tough immediately.
Yeah.
And then this morning he goes, it looks bad. It looks really bad.
It didn't look great. They got tough really quick.
Beans all over the ground. And
no beans on the ground, but the head just plugs up, and then you get a little like where it runs over a clump of bean. Like it'll bundle up in an area and start dragging. And that's instead of combining those beans, the pile will just push them over.
Yeah,
and then you stop and back up. But you can't. They're already bent over, so you can't get them unless you go the other direction. So then, if you're like anal about it, like me,
you would do that.
Yeah. Yes, you'll go forward, stop, turn around. Go back, get that little bit, turn around, go back.
It's only a few plants. Push them all over.
You should. That's what my dad always said. He said, always aim to just run those ones over with your tire.
Yeah, right. You'll never see them again.
Like, finish your field and then put it in high gear and just drive around running shit over.
That's a good idea.
But anyway.
Yes?
Gregory here.
Yo.
Since he's the first time. This is the first time guest here.
Yeah, this is a brand new guest. We've never had him on the show
before. There's been like 3 attempts before.
Yeah.
We did ask you once before.
I've been asked several times.
Around 4th of July when Chris lost an eye.
Yeah.
That's an old saying I've had for years.
We need to be better about like having questions to ask a new guest because I can never think of anything.
Oh, do you want me to ask him
questions? Yeah, ask him questions. Let's interview him.
Don't already know.
So Howdy and I have had a bit of a...
And immediately he just starts talking about himself. Did you catch that?
I caught it.
Oh, yeah. It's leading up to a question.
It's about me, then we'll get to the other.
Why don't you ask Greg a nice question? So I knew him, and how does it relate to my life?
Absolutely. That's where I'm going. So Howdy and I met each other when I was very young, before my deployment. I was, 17, 18 years old?
I don't know what you were. You were little.
My question is like, what brought you up this far in the States? So you
from the
grew up in the Confederate States of America.
In the Confederate central part of Illinois.
Like 3 hours south of here.
Yeah. Basically where nobody goes. Like, you don't go there if you don't talk like Greg because, they'll skin you. So anyway, what brought you up like this far? Because it was a little podunk elevator in the middle of nowhere. And then the next thing I know, me and Greg were running the scale together. Or no, we were inventorying seed for my dad.
Yeah.
And you were older, and I was like, man, this guy's so cool.
He's so
got
cool.
He's got that sweet ass accent. And I want to be like.
He always says howdy.
I want to be like. I want to be like Greg.
I'm the last person you want to be like. I don't know. I went to college and I decided, we had a farm, but it wasn't big enough to sustain, me and my folks. And so went to college for agronomy, agriculture, and then went to Bloomington. And I made my mind up before I went off to Bloomington that I was going to go. I was going to go wherever the money was at. I wasn't going to just, I got to go back home.
And if there's money somewhere, it's Mazon, Illinois.
Agriculture.
It is Mazon, Illinois.
So,
jackpot of money.
Yeah. So in 2005, there wasn't very many agronomy jobs.
No.
And so here I am.
So I was 18 then, because that's the year I graduated.
Yeah.
So it was that summer, right?
No, it was October.
It was that fall leading up into the summer. So, yeah, so then the next spring is when we were the inventory people.
Yeah.
For the old man.
Yep.
You know where I met Howdy?
Drinking, I imagine.
No.
Yeah, it had to have been somewhere like
The
that.
Mazon Market, which I now own. Just goes
Isn't that
full
weird?
circle.
Full circle.
That is full circle.
I met him at the Mazon Market shopping.
Getting
for
some
groceries
mozzarella
because
sticks.
we both, as single men,
Yeah.
shopped for groceries at the Mazon Market with those tiny little carts.
Yep.
I was getting my sloppy joes and
Paid
frozen pizza.
3 times as much money as you would have.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Going to Burcott's.
When I worked at the elevator, I don't think I ever packed a lunch. The only place I ever went was the Mazon Market for lunch.
Oh yeah, they had several things. They had ham salad
and treats.
sandwiches.
What? The salami sandwiches on white bread was the bomb.
They had ham salad on white bread, which I would get a lot. They had day old cold frozen or fried chicken that you could buy in the cooler.
Love it. Yep.
Got that all the time. They had macaroni salad, little tubs of macaroni.
Love the macaroni salad.
So I would get all
The
the time.
macaroni salad was great, but their mozzarella sticks, man, had crack in them. And it was just like frozen shit out of a bag.
Well, hey,
but I would get them every day.
I still got the deep fryers, and when I bought the place, there were still boxes of mozzarella sticks.
Are the deep fryers still lined with the sludge that was in them before?
That
It took
gives
me-
the
because
flavor.
yes,
Took
that's
me
where the
2
flavor
days
is.
to clean out those some bitches.
You cleaned them?
Yeah, I did. Because guess what?
I'll never buy a mozzarella stick from you.
The place was
Tastes like
vacant for 3 years, and nobody ever cleaned out
Yeah, but
the fryers.
dirty grease doesn't get dirtier.
It was
So I'm
pretty
not.
gross. I mean, it all solidified. It was like a solid white mold of Jello inside of there.
All you have to do is turn it on; it'll melt.
They don't cook that shit out of there.
If you get it up to boiling temp, it's clean, right?
But you guys, you were talking about the market, but you totally forgot about the feed bag.
Oh yeah.
I've never forgotten about the feed bag.
You
And
missed the
it's-
feed bag.
It's literally a part of my soul that has died and never came back.
I ate at the feed bag every night, and my
So did
parents.
my parents.
Yeah, I know.
You were probably with my dad
it was,
every single
it was like,
night.
Yeah. Only time I didn't see your dad was like whenever I was sleeping or at a bar. Right. No, I seen your dad's bar too. So
Yeah.
Turn on the gate on his mic a little bit. Sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah. But I remember my dad come up. He's like, "How much do you eat here?" I'm like, "Every night." He's like, "Every night?" I said,
At this place?
"You can get a 3-piece meal or a 3-course meal for $5."
Yeah. You're like,
I can't even turn on the oven for that.
have you ever had a Dagwood burger?
Dagwood Burger Deluxe is where it's at.
Gosh, that's what I got every single time.
Me too. That's what I always got.
I
Dagwood
always
Burger
got
Deluxe.
the Dagwood burger. It was my jam. The only difference about that was it had Swiss cheese on it.
No, it had 2 patties. That was the only difference.
2 patties and Swiss
I don't
cheese.
think it had Swiss cheese.
Absolutely, it did.
Okay, well, whatever. The big difference was it was 2 patties.
Yeah, and that's what I would get as a child. My grandpa would get a double breaded cheeseburger like every single day.
Oh yeah, those were great.
Yeah, ended up having open heart surgery, but it's fine. He's good.
I even went after when I went to college in Champaign. Eason, who used to run the feedback, he moved down to Champaign and he had 2 restaurants: Urbana Gardens
Really?
and Oakley's.
Man, he didn't call him something with feed
No.
in the name,
Nope.
like feed sack.
But when I was in college, I'd go in there and eat
bag.
at Oakley's or Urbana Gardens, wherever he was at. It was always good for a free meal. It was great.
A free meal?
Yeah. Well, he was.
You were
friend-
that in with him?
Oh yeah. Me and Eason, We were tight.
Jerry,
Chris knows
he's a
everything.
Harford. They're
I
in
know.
with everybody.
They are for some reason.
I went to school with his son, Alan Balazzi.
Alan Eason.
No, Easton was his first name.
Oh, like Easton Bats.
Eason.
Is
No
that
T.
a what is that? Is
Armenian.
that a? I heard a thing about Armenian people that there is a company or a corporation that will like employ anyone basically and send them to the United States to run diners.
Okay, first of all,
Is this a
I'm the
real
one
thing?
that told you this story.
Were you? I thought it was David.
And I'm guessing he pulled it directly out of his ass.
No, I didn't. It's a thing. It's a.
I don't think you
It's
did.
a-
I thought it was David
It's
Lowry.
a thing like in Armenia or a couple other of those Eastern European countries, where you can. It's like a package deal. So
Yeah.
you like buy into it, and you can get your visas for your whole family, and they'll basically set you up in a restaurant somewhere in the United States of America.
And you
then
get like support for a little bit.
Yeah, you get support for a little bit. You run the restaurant. They give you the menu. That's why the menus are all the same at Greek or Armenian dinners.
Yeah.
They give you the menu. They give you the food distributor. They give you everything you need. But you run it. They run it as a small business.
Sure.
And then eventually, after 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever amount of time, you move on to the next. You like hop up to the next location, and this person will move back into this one because
Oh, you go to different
you
locations.
can, or you can buy that location.
Okay.
I think over time, but it's like a package deal, or it was. I don't know if it still is, because I don't see a lot of new ones popping up anymore. And
No,
the
you
people that
don't.
own those, which a lot of them are still running, like Morris Diner,
Yeah.
Sherwood Oaks, Pete's down there might have closed, but
So Morris Diner is one of these things, huh?
yeah, they're all the same. They all have the same menu.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Route 66, pretty much. But all those. Well, my point is, the people that own those places now are older, so they just stayed. They just bought them and stayed, and
Yeah.
their families run them.
My sister commented on our live feed, Katie, and she said pizza burgers all the way.
You know,
From the feedback, she used to get pizza burgers constantly.
I remember getting pizza burgers at school. I don't remember ever having one at the feedback, but I'm sure I did.
I would never, because when I was growing up, I hated pizza.
Shut up.
I did. I would
Serious?
not. I'm serious. I never ate pizza until I got it in high school. And I remember my grandparents.
That is so weird.
Okay,
My
you
grandparents.
didn't eat pizza until you were in high school.
No, I
You
ate
didn't go to
it
a
and I
pizza
didn't.
party. You didn't go to get
I
a
wouldn't-
personal pan pizza from
I
Pizza
wouldn't
Hut.
eat it. My
You
mom
didn't
would-
do book it. You didn't read books. You were illiterate. You failed all your classes.
That's nothing to do with that. I just didn't accept the winnings of these things. Like my mom, I remember going to a pizza party and my mom bringing me McDonald's to eat at the pizza party
You were
because I would.
you were that kid.
I was.
God.
And then when I got in high school, I would try it every once in a while, and it was fine. But then I remember it was actually my 8th grade year, and it was Alan Schaefer's birthday party at Pizza Hut. I went, and I was like, "No, Mom, I don't want McDonald's this time." And I had pepperoni pizza, and I tried it for the 90th time probably at this point, and I took a bite and I liked it. And then going into high school, I was like, "Yeah, I like pizza. What? I'm cool like everyone else. I like pizza," and I've eaten it ever since.
All those
But-
years you missed out on the cafeteria pizza.
So my grandparents used to take me like every year when they lived in Florida. Anytime I would see them close to my birthday, they would take me for pizza, and I'd never eat. And they're like, "We always wondered why you never ate whenever we took you for your birthday." It's like, because I hated pizza. Like,
I
why?
don't even understand how a person hates pizza.
Hey,
I didn't like
Did
it
you
as
ever
a
go
child.
to Federson's?
Yeah, we went to Federson's all the time, and I wouldn't eat pizza. I
Love
just
that
played the
place.
games.
They
That
had
was great
they had I
pizza.
believe it was a Terminator pinball machine.
They did.
And for a while they had that like sit down game with like the TV that's on the table.
Yes, underneath, and the joysticks were
Yeah,
up
you
top
played
with
like
the buttons.
Pac-Man. There was other games on there.
Yep. Yeah, we went to Federson's all the time. It was like the greatest place to go, but I would never eat pizza. They had other things.
They did?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I know they had mozzarella sticks because I would always get those.
so there's not.
But I
much
think they had like ravioli and spaghetti and stuff too.
Okay.
So
It was like a
what you're saying-
legit Italian restaurant.
Restaurante.
So what you're saying is the only thing you didn't like was the marinara sauce because you liked.
And I wouldn't dip mozzarella sticks in
You
marinara.
ate dry sticks?
No, ranch.
It's not the same.
You're a disappointing human being.
Oh, that's fine. You can't tell me you don't dip anything in ranch. Are you a ranch like?
No, I dip everything in ranch. I
Oh.
put that shit in my hair.
So that was a problem
I use
then
it
that
to
I
slick
would
back
dip.
my hair.
So what's the problem with me dipping mozzarella sticks in ranch?
I walk around my house with slick back ranch hair. I act like I'm Italian.
Can you answer the question? Huh? Quit avoiding the question.
I mean, I don't really have enough hair to slick back. It just kind of sticks straight up.
All three of them.
That's true.
the Homer Simpson.
You are balding.
Yeah, I dip stuff in ranch. Sue
I know.
me, Jerry.
No, I'm not. I'm saying like, why were you attacking me for dipping mozzarella sticks in
Because
ranch?
mozzarella sticks are not a thing I would dip in ranch.
No.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely not. It's marinara all the way.
That's ridiculous.
I don't
Are
think
you
so.
concussed right now?
In fact, I don't really dip fried foods in ranch very often.
No.
You didn't in high school dip the French fries in ranch?
No, not really. I mean, I would dip a French fry in ranch.
What is the? Here's the big thing. There are so many differences in ranch, the dressing, right?
Aren't you so disappointed when you get shit ranch?
Yes. What is
Is
the
it-
difference here? What are they doing different? Ranch should be ranch across the board. Like,
yeah,
it
but it's
doesn't-
not. Like some of it's made with like yogurt, and those are the ones that are awesome.
Yogurt. It's made with yogurt, like plain Greek yogurt.
I like buttermilk. You're thinking
Yeah.
of buttermilk. Buttermilk.
But my
ranch.
question is, Hidden Valley, when did that go to shit?
It's not that good.
It did
It's
go
not.
to
It
shit.
sucks.
But
Yeah,
there's
you're right.
regular Hidden Valley, and then there's buttermilk ranch Hidden Valley.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I think it's like that shit ranch that you get from high school, like in the high school cafeteria. That was the best to
Well,
me.
yeah. Anything,
like this
anything
weird-
on a buffet that we'll probably never see buffets ever again.
It probably. You're right. We probably.
What I
we
hate
really
is
won't.
the really thin ranch, and then a lot of
Oh, I
times
love
will
that.
be on a buffet
It
salad
will be.
bar, or it'll be at a diner. If you
But-
get ranch at a diner, it's always that real thin ranch.
But to
That's
be
the best.
honest, it has a different flavor.
it does have a different flavor, and it's terrible.
No.
The best ranch ever is the ranch you get from Gio's Pizza in Coal City. I have no idea why it's so
Oh,
good.
really? I haven't-
But it's
I
got
just
a,
had Gio's
It's got a
yesterday.
tangy bite to it.
You can't get
It's-
away from that tangy bite.
It's amazing.
Anything
All
that I
about
ever
the
bite
tang.
into that bites back, I love.
Tony Ely agrees with the Dagwood burger. Dagwood burger fries with brown gravy.
My newest sister-in-law, Chelsea, said mozzarella sticks, marinara sauce all the way. I get
Yeah.
it. I will eat it in marinara sauce now, right now. I would eat that, but if there was ranch anywhere in my vicinity, I would chuck the marinara, take the ranch. Even if it was a watery shit ranch.
Yeah, and then Sarah Mitchell, she said runny ranch too. Runny ranch is
Runny
not.
ranch is the best.
It's not good.
And then you take
Well,
your,
I don't think she's like necessarily saying she wants the runny ranch. I think she's just proclaiming like this
Oh,
is
that
what
is
it's
what it
called.
is, runny ranch.
Runny ranch compared to yogurt ranch.
Runny ranch can go run itself
Yeah.
back to the fucking ranch.
Okay.
well, really, really hostile over Runny Ranch.
Yeah.
So David Timmons said, "I'm not listening tonight, but see the comments on cheese sticks. Go Dairy Queen curds, but get the country gravy, almost like poutine, but
I mean,
better."
country gravy at Dairy Queen is amazing,
It
and
is.
Dairy Queen cheese curds are way better than Culver's cheese
I
curds. It's not even
completely
close.
agree with you. Every time I get the curds from Culver's, it gives me
I'm disappointed.
and I have to evacuate my bowels immediately.
That's what we need to know. You know where that cheese
I'm
curds
serious.
are good?
It's something in them that makes me.
Have you ever
like,
been to
blow
an
up.
A&W?
Of course,
They have cheese curds.
it's my
and they're
dad's
awesome.
favorite. I don't remember.
I
ever
used to
getting
go to
cheese
this
curds from them.
A&W every single day when me and one of my friends we worked for Jimmy John in Minong, Wisconsin. That was the only fast food restaurant anywhere. There was an A&W.
The old
Like at a
style
gas station.
A&W? Like old style.
Like the drive up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an A&W restaurant,
Yeah.
fast food restaurant.
All right.
They
It's
had
like the
they have-
original.
It's like Dairy Queen, kinda.
It's like the
without-
original Sonic.
Yeah, I
Kind
mean
of.
they have hot dogs, burgers. That's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's way better than Sonic
Sonic is
by far. It is just terrible. I've only been there a couple times, and it was
Sonic?
so disappointing.
Oh, their cheeseburgers are the bomb.
No.
Really?
And you want to talk about the cheese curds? Are awesome.
I didn't have a problem with their cheese curds, but you know what I did have a problem with? Their ranch.
Their marinara.
No, the ranch.
Everything.
When we were on our way back from either Wyoming, we went to Wyoming to see my sister. We were on our way back from that. We stopped at we drove all day, stopped at a Sonic real quick to get some food and get right to the hotel. I've told this story once before on the podcast, and I'm going to tell it again. I was so ready to eat this. Like, I was so hungry. I was pissed off because the kids were screaming and yelling because they were done too. And we get this food, get back to the hotel. I'm like, yes, let's get this crap food in my belly. And the burger was fine, but I start dipping things in this ranch. It was so horrendous. I couldn't eat it. I threw it away. I was like, I'm not eating that ranch. I can't do it. It was bad. And Amy did the same thing. She's like, yeah, this isn't good. I think they left it out in the sun or something for 6 days before they gave it to us because it was poison.
Properly aged.
Yeah, it took the enamel off my teeth. It was a big issue.
It might have been paint thinner.
My dentist had to get into it and fix my teeth. It was bad.
Your sister-in-law said the ranch at Smitty's in Leonore has the perfect consistency and garlic in it. Here's the deal.
She's not wrong.
Have you ever seen that
Smitty's.
YouTube show Unpopular Opinion? It's this guy, British guy, and he has celebrities on, and they like proclaim unpopular opinions.
Where was this? What is this called?
It's a YouTube show. It's called Unpopular Opinions.
No.
It's a great show. But anyway, here's an unpopular opinion for you.
Okay.
Schmitty's overrated as hell.
You are
so unpopular.
Shame on you.
No, the wings are too small.
No, they aren't.
What is
They're
wrong
pretty
with you?
big.
They're not that good. Sorry.
When's the last time you've been there?
It's been a while.
I just don't. This is very unpopular. I do not agree
Besides,
with
you
you.
go there for, well, you do go there for the wings, but you go for
And then you
the
stand in
tenderloin.
line.
The tenderloin.
You can get the tenderloin literally everywhere around here. You don't got to go to Leonore for it.
It's true.
It's just a Plan 6 tenderloin, right?
I believe it's pronounced planchix.
Planchix, whatever. Here's the deal. There's lots of places around here that have better wings. EJ Cars has fantastic wings, by the way.
Do they? I've never
Burgers
had their
and
wings.
Beers has fantastic wings.
Never had their wings either.
Ransom, we used to go all the time to Ransom.
Ransom
Yeah,
was
Jerry's has.
Jerry's
good
had
wings.
amazing wings. That's what we did every Wednesday night.
His cheeseburgers
Jerry's does
were
have
the
good
best.
wings, but I
But
don't
I
know.
haven't been to Jerry's in years, so
I haven't either, but I really do like Smitty's a lot.
Jerry told me what his secret was in his cheeseburgers.
what's that?
Oyster sauce.
Oh, I always put that.
Oh, really?
I always
do
put that in
all
my
the time
burgers.
too. I thought you were going to say heroin.
Why don't? What's the correct pronunciation? Because
What?
it's spelled
It's-
Worcestershire.
Yeah, I don't know.
but everybody says Worcestershire.
Because nobody can say.
But
Worcestershire.
are you actually supposed to pronounce it Worcestershire?
I don't know. I just say Worcestershire.
That's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Worcestershire.
Somebody that like made that sauce that lives in like Worcestershire,
They
England,
did it on purpose.
is just disappointed as hell now.
He's probably dead.
He is probably dead.
But when
He was a-
but when he labeled it, he's like, I'm going to piss everybody off for the rest of time.
He was actually a duke. Did you
Really?
know that? Yeah.
Did you know we have Dukes?
He was the Duke of Worcestershire. That's a true story.
I don't doubt it, but
He was
did you know
cousin,
that we
the
also have
cousin
Dukes?
of Queen Elizabeth.
You made that up.
No,
You're pulling this.
that's a
directly.
Duke. He was the cousin
Okay.
of Queen Elizabeth. The
Why-
Duke of Worcestershire. He created the sauce, just like the Earl of Sandwich created the sandwich.
Listen to this guy.
Do you not know about the Earl of Sandwich?
I don't know about the Earl
That's
of
a real
Sandwich.
thing. That's where the sandwich came from. The Earl
He
of
decided
Sandwich.
to put meat between two pieces of
Correct.
bread.
That's where it got the name sandwich from
Yes.
the Earl of Sandwich.
No, I did know that part.
And the Duke of Worcestershire.
Had a fermented sauce.
He needed to dress his sandwich. This was about 100 years after the Earl of Sandwich was alive, but
Of
he
course.
was looking for a dressing.
That was made up.
It's not made up.
No, the part where it was like 100
Oh,
years
yeah, I have
after.
no-
You don't know the time frame.
See, the thing with Chris is he throws out so many like random stories like that, kind of like
You don't know what's true and what's false.
like the Bubble Bandit, right? You know, you listen to that story for a while, and you're like, why? How?
No,
How
I
do
tell you straight up.
I've got it.
Bubble
I've got it in my
Bandit's the
kitchen.
way to go.
I got it in my kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have 2 bags that
Shiny.
equal 7 pounds.
Everything's shiny.
It's not. It's not a 7-pound
Not
bag.
a 7-pound bag.
It's 2 individual bags that are about
You
3.5
can buy a
pounds apiece.
5-gallon bucket, though.
You
That's what I
can.
love about it. You can buy a 5-gallon bucket on
That's-
Amazon.
That's my next move.
Yeah, you should get it.
Yeah.
I'm
tell
still
you-
working on one of those bags for like a year
As
now.
am I. I've been working on the same bag for a while, and I still have one unopened bag. But I tell you what, my dishes are clean.
Never been cleaner. Did you get rid of the rotten fish smell?
I haven't had it.
Gone.
Yeah, I've never. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to that. But
This
He's
is
forgotten
why
all
it's
about
not
it.
there.
all of you people
It's not there.
here and in the listening audience just need to listen to me all the time.
No, what it comes down to is phosphates, Chris.
It always comes back to the fertilizer.
It always comes back to phosphate. That's right.
But seriously, so was the Duke of Worchestershire?
He was big in the lawn bowling. He was actually one of the first lawn bowlers. He created
Was it a competition between
All right.
like
the Royal
soy sauce?
Society of Lawn Bowling. That was created by the Duke of Worcestershire.
All right, listeners, start Googling.
Yeah, somebody Google this and fact check it because I don't.
It was like not the first Royal Society. That was croquet, but then after that, it was lawn bowling.
Okay,
Why
wait.
do you know that?
Okay,
Greg, I know everything.
not everything.
No.
Here's a good thing. So my sister brought up Skoogs. Have you ever been to Skoogs
No, I don't even
in
know where that
Utica?
is.
It's in Utica. It's
Yes.
a bar.
Oh, I've been to
Your
the
dad-
bar. I've never
Phenomenal
eaten there.
wings.
Your dad loves Skoogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have phenomenal wings. Very, very good wings. And then Chelsea, what did Chelsea say? This is David, but Chris, you're wrong. Their wings are probably the
Am I
biggest
wrong?
around.
Maybe I got it backwards. Maybe they're
However, I agree there are better wings. EJ's aren't that good, and the ranch is garbage. Jerry probably has top 5 wings for sure.
big. Jerry's is great. Try Burgers and Beers. Their wings are phenomenal. I'm telling you. They're really
I'm
good.
gonna have to try them.
And
Isn't there one? Is the one in Seneca open now? Like, is that a thing?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, but it's going to Seneca, right? To the
Yeah.
marina.
To the marina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time.
Yes. That I mean, before COVID. I don't know
Anyway,
if anything's going to happen
yeah, I know.
post-COVID. so.
Anyway, what I wanted to get back to is, do you think that this Worcestershire Duke was in a battle with someone from China to like have a competition to soy sauce?
No, because it doesn't taste like soy sauce.
It doesn't have to taste like soy sauce. I'm saying it's like a sauce to compete with it. Because soy sauce is similar in the way you would use it.
Soy sauce is liquid salt.
Well, it
Here's
is,
what I
but
don't
it's
understand
also
about soy sauce. Right?
fermented, like
Did they grow
fish and-
soybeans in China?
Yes.
I mean, they must, right?
Yeah.
I would assume
Did they
so.
grow it in China before it came to the U.S.? Is it
Had-
from China?
No.
Yes.
It had to have been. Because
Yes,
they have
absolutely.
tofu, they got soy sauce.
You're asking, did the soybeans come here from China?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, I don't know
Where's
about
the
that.
soybean plant originally from?
Brazil.
No.
No.
No,
Can't-
they just bulldozed the range.
It's
of forests and planted
obviously
there.
But
Quebec,
bean-
Canada.
But the bean is a big deal in Brazil. They have contests every year, see who can grow the tallest soybean, and they run them up like power poles and stuff like that.
Really?
Yep.
And they have like
listen to
4
this.
pods.
Soybeans originated in Southeast Asia and were first domesticated by Chinese farmers around
you go.
1100 BC. Isn't it amazing that they developed this crop
Mm-hmm.
and then it came here and we just like did it so much better?
Yeah. Exploited everything.
And then
about
they
it.
just buy it from us.
And then they're like, we're like, wait, listen, quit growing this. We're going to grow it for you. Buy it back from us.
yeah.
Please.
Please. Like, please.
Please. Yeah. And that's exactly what it's been for the last couple of years. It's like,
If you
please,
don't, we all go broke.
please buy these beans back from us.
They set us up way back when.
Soybean seeds from China were planted by a colonist in the British colony of Georgia in 1765. So they actually came to probably like the Ukraine area, which is a huge producer of soybeans, right?
The Ukraine?
Yeah.
My brother's there. right now.
Ask him.
They came there probably then before the U.S.
Really?
Georgia's right by the Ukraine, right? They're next to each other.
I don't know.
Maybe.
have
I'm
no
not
idea.
sure.
Ukraine.
I just remember from the 2014 Winter Olympics, a guy from Georgia died from the skeleton.
COVID.
Skeleton.
Yeah, where it's like bobsled, but it's one person on one sled. Died. Flew off the track, smashed into a pole, obliterated the man.
Ukraine is not next to Georgia, but they both are near the Black Sea.
Makes sense.
Which is what makes them a big export market. That's why Russia wants the Ukraine so bad. So they can get their oil out
I tell you
through
what,
the Black Sea.
Did you know we've had some Russian listeners?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, some Russian
Kiev.
listeners in
How do you say hello in Russian?
Molotov.
Are their names Ivan?
I don't know what the names
Maybe
are,
it's
but I
Edward
appreciate.
Snowden, because I'm a fan of his.
I am a
Right-
fan of Edward Snowden as well, and
right
he's
then.
been living in Moscow.
Wow, I tried to look up the word hello in Russian. Holy cow.
Just a bunch of lines.
It's ZDRAVSTVUYTE.
Oh,
All the letters that we don't use.
How do you greet someone in Russian? Oh, man, you got to watch it.
Do you do
punch
that?
him
Do
in
you
the
do
nose.
this? Hello. That's like a
Say schwa.
European thing, right? Like, hello. And they all know what you're saying. I think that's the thing. I saw that on Eurotrip.
What is that one song that's like, it was really big. Okay, so I did a study abroad in Germany.
You did.
And we went to some of like these discotheques, right? And they had this,
Discoteca.
discotecas.
Yeah.
They had this song that was huge, and it was like, yeah, it was a techno song. It was like, hello, c'est schwa, anyway.
Oh, my jam.
Anyway, it came to the U.S. after we got back from Germany. It was everywhere there.
You were like, no.
So I come back to school in the fall semester at U of I, and we're going out to the bar, and all of a sudden this song starts popping up on the radio. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You'd know this song if I could remember the chorus.
I really want you to sing the chorus.
Yeah.
So bad.
I think it was that one that went, Anuma, Numa, yay.
Oh, yeah.
Anuma, Numa, Numa, yay.
Yeah, and it was a big viral thing with the one kid singing it on YouTube years
The
ago.
Numa Numa kid.
The Numa Numa guy, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That
Are
was the
you
song.
sure?
That was it. I think that was it.
Hell of a song.
If Kevin Seedentop is listening, he will know because he was in Germany with me.
He was?
Yeah.
Chris Henderson says soybeans, South Asia, 2 minutes ago. You're behind the ball, Chris. We already talked about it.
Dragastier Dean TA, performed by Ozone.
I was going to guess that, too. It was right
I
on the,
recognized one word.
it was right on the
Ozone.
tip of my tongue. You know, the Ozone's coming back. It's making a comeback.
It's not making a comeback. It's there. It's just there.
There's a big hole.
There was a hole once over Australia. And
Huge
it's gone
hole.
now.
Huge hole.
Gigantic.
2004, that song
It was heating up the world.
was the Numa Numa Kid. And
Yeah.
I probably was in
That was
Germany
my
in
junior
2011. Or no,
No, you
2001 or 2002. Somewhere in there I was in Germany.
It was when I was early high school. I know that.
It was the first internet viral hit. I don't know if that's true. Remember that guy that did like the evolution of dance? That was a big one.
Yeah, but I think that was after.
Could be.
This is the first big viral hit that you spawned.
You
brought it back from
I think I
Germany.
did. I think I started it.
Yeah, Chris
I brought it back in
from
2001,
Germany.
and by 2004, it's a viral hit. It only took
Incredible.
3 years.
Packed it up in his bag and brought it home.
So as of right now, do we know how to say hello in Russian?
No. We're just going to call it Kiev.
Yeah. Oh, Kiev. Moscow, Russia. Yeah, so that's over. Okay, we can get into like a little bit of news, can't we?
First of all, I got to stretches my springs.
Oh, I do as well.
This one has been stretching my springs lately
Okay.
because I have to use an iPad now in my combine or in the tractor, in my combine.
Field view.
Yeah.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, you know that shit's like free now?
Yeah.
They're just, after I bitched for like 2 years, it was a subscription-based model. Now, the first year I didn't have to pay for.
Right.
The second year, they charged me for.
Like
Okay.
$900.
And I just constantly complained like to anybody that would listen. Like, not that I do anybody high up in the company. I actually just stood on the corner of 47,
held signs.
just
You were a
shouting
sign spinner.
shouting into the wind. I'm like, Morby,
I hate you.
there's no reason to charge for this.
They're like, for what? Fairview.
You're getting our data. Anyway, so they're not charging for it anymore. Well, I don't know. I get a year free from Bayer Rewards, and then I've heard that in the future they're not charging anymore. But I don't know. Or no, they dropped it to $99 a year.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's cheap.
Anyway,
You gotta.
it was another one they're not charging for. I'm getting too confused. Farmers Business Network.
Okay.
They were a subscription based.
FBN, huh?
Now, okay, so real quickly on this. I was a little interested in them at first before anybody really knew what they were, because they were showing like you could take your prices of your inputs, like your seed, your chemicals.
Right.
You could put them in there, and it would say like what the average prices people are paying around the country.
Right, and they're saying like we can get you this price over here.
They're not saying we can get you. They're just saying these are what the average prices are.
Okay.
Quickly, what you find out is they're just trying to sell you generic shit. That's all they're doing. So they're saying like, here's the price of Roundup. You're using Roundup. Here's the average price of Roundup, which they're giving you retail prices, which nobody's paying. So it's irrelevant data in the first place. And they're like, well, if you're interested in Roundup, we can get you generic glyphosate for half that price.
We've got Glypho King times 3.
So they called me and they're like, so anyway, I was at a farm show with your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And he had signed up to try it out. They give you like the first year or 2 years really cheap. So we went to the booth, and I'm like talking to them. They're like, "Oh, we'll sign you up for 2 years for like $300." And I'm like, I'll think about it. Anyway, I run into him later, and we come to find out they're doing a special. If you sign up, you get a Yeti cooler.
Love those.
Okay.
Yeah, I want one.
It's a little travel one, but it's sweet. But then if you have somebody that's already your member refers you, they get like a $400 Amazon gift card. And a Yeti cooler as well.
Holy smokes.
So I find David, I'm like,
Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
I'm going to sign up for $300 to get the Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
And then you get $400 and you get a Yeti cooler. And he's like, yeah, we'll just split the money. I'm like, great. I never saw any of that money, by the way. If you're listening.
Oh, David's listening right now. You better pony up, bud.
No, it's fine. So anyway, I joined. Anyway, shortly after that, they start calling. They're like, hey, we'll give you a $100 Amazon gift card to answer this, to do like a 20-minute interview or survey.
Okay.
And I was planting at the time, so I'm like, okay. So it's this guy clearly from like California, like that works in the tech side of things.
Right. Has no idea what you're doing.
And he's just asking me all these questions. And finally I just go off. I'm like, there's absolutely no reason. I'm like, this is... I said, you're in like Silicon Valley area, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so you work in tech? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you do realize that you shouldn't be charging anything for this product. And he's like, well, we got to get our development costs. I go, you're an advertising platform. Mm-hmm. You're advertising us to sell us chemicals and seed of your own branding.
Right.
So if you just make it free, and you have good tools, everybody will sign up because it's free. And then you have a huge platform of people to advertise to.
Right.
So why would you make this barrier to entry? I'm like, does Google work that way? Does any of the other tech companies that work that way? And he's like, well, no. And anyway, does this happen? And then like 2 weeks later, I get another call from this guy's boss.
We'd like you to work for FBN.
No. And they're like, we just wanted to follow up more on your talk. And so I talked to that guy for like an hour.
Really?
At the end of it, I'm like, you get another $100 gift card for me?
My time's not cheap.
Did you tell him about the Snarf Talk podcast at all?
This was I think before Snarf Talk podcast.
No,
I don't know.
When you went to the
maybe
you went to the show,
I didn't,
doing this.
by the way. And now here we are, like a year or two later,
huge,
and now it's free. They're taking my advice, and I get no credit.
You don't. Well, you do now.
Yeah.
This is live, man.
Yeah. Anyway, nobody wants to hear about that.
I thought it was very interesting.
Oh, David said, I never got that shit because you didn't upload any data. Well, you got a free cooler, so shut up.
That's funny.
Stretches my springs.
Yes,
Okay.
what stretches your springs?
So I got an iPad in there. Turns out iPads do not like or touch screens apparently, but I've only noticed on my iPad, do not like to recognize touch when your hands are covered in oil. Like
probably
hydraulic
not gonna
oil
work.
or
Well, yeah, it runs off of like the moisture in your skin or something, right?
it's like the electrical impulses in your skin.
Right, but if it's blocked,
I don't know. I guess it blocks it enough, but
well, I mean, oil would be an inhibitor of that, right?
is it? It's a conduit. I mean, you got oil on your skin, natural oil.
That's true.
I don't know, but it doesn't seem to work if you have oil on your hands, which I always do. For
Well,
some
you need
reason.
to wash your hands better.
Yeah.
Where?
You need to have those like
need-
Gojo wipes.
Yes.
I don't have
either
any of those
Gojo
things.
wipes or
Listen,
that big jug.
This
sitting
isn't
in the
no
corner of the-
fancy I work for the government thing here going on right
Like
here.
David has Gojo wipes in the back of his truck all the time, ready to
Government,
rock.
Apparently. I don't know. He must get them from the government.
Right. Yeah. It's a subsidy that the government just gives out to certain people.
Every farmer in America has a jug sitting in there.
Not me.
It's like the pull you
Not this
pull out
guy.
the handy wipes, you wipe your hands
I don't.
off,
I don't wipe my hands. I don't
cleans
clean
them really well,
Ever.
and then
Never
and then
wash
you're
my
good to
hands.
go.
Nope.
And then your iPad will work. I mean, if you want a solution, I'm giving you one. If you want your iPad to not work, then just keep complaining and don't wipe your hands off. I mean, that's all I can tell you.
All right. Well, that's it. That's what stretches my springs.
So-
They should make them work with hydraulic oil.
Yeah, you're right. They should. I have a spring stretcher, and it's a basic one. It's also a basic white girl one, right? Because
That seems
No, you
either
can say that.
sexist or
This-
racist.
yeah,
or
no,
both.
no.
I don't know.
Not when I say the word pumpkin spice.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
all right, all right.
I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate when people speak of it. I hate myself for bringing this up because it's the bane of my existence. It's not good. I like pumpkin pie.
It isn't good. I hate pumpkin pie.
I like pumpkin pie on like one time. I will have
Thanksgiving.
one piece of pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, and I probably won't touch it again for another 364
The only way I'll
days.
eat pumpkin pie is if the Cool Whip to pumpkin pie ratio is like 20-1.
Yes.
I would do that. I'd do that as well. But I like I take it back. So there's a pumpkin roll that my mother-in-law will make. And it's like pumpkin bread rolled with cream cheese, like in a spiral, you know? You cut it in slices. Very good. I enjoy that. Anything else flavored in pumpkin is stupid. It's dumb. If you do that, I don't want a part of
I think
you.
I saw some pumpkin spice deodorant the other day.
It's just getting
That
so out of hand.
Is dumb.
There's pumpkin spice, like
I don't
whipped
use
cream.
deodorant,
lose, like-
so I don't know.
So I saw a guy on TikTok. He was making pumpkin pie. Oh, okay, great. And then he used this like pumpkin spiced whipped cream in a can, sprayed it on the top, and then he dusted it with this like pumpkin cinnamon. And I was like, how much freaking pumpkin do you need in this dish? Like, what? Isn't there contrast involved with this?
Yeah.
Like, is there anything
And
that
it's not even that good. Pumpkin.
it's not good. It is. It's a squash. Eat squash. Do people talk about like I got squash spice? Squash spice this year's like on par.
I'd have some spaghetti squash.
Butternut squash spice. I don't know what the rave is. I don't like it. I think it's dumb. Quit overplaying pumpkin spice. That's my spring stretcher.
There you go.
You
Anything
got
stretch your springs?
I guess I go along with Jerry, and mine is cinnamon. I hate the smell
Cinnamon.
of cinnamon.
I love cinnamon
What
toast though.
I do like.
yeah,
I do like me
cinnamon
some
toast
cinnamon
crunch
toast
is the bomb.
and
But
cinnamon raisins.
you start getting
stuff.
close to Christmas, everything smells like cinnamon. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the smell of it. Ugh, don't like it.
Have you ever done the cinnamon challenge, Greg?
No.
Did you see people doing this?
Yeah, that was the thing.
Where they were like dumping a bunch of cinnamon in their mouth, burning their esophagus, and dying.
I don't think they were
What?
dying.
All of them died
They died all of them?
immediately. It's just like a mass murder from
And
cinnamon.
then they're dead bodies.
I think I always just
spontaneously
saw them
busted.
coughing and like clouds of cinnamon come out.
And then they died afterwards. It was horrific. It was played on the news.
Thousands of people.
Yeah, I almost said something wrong.
What?
No, I cannot physically say that on air. It will not. It's not good.
Now you got to.
No. Anyway, I got some news. You want to start with some news? I got
Sure.
a few topics
We're only
to
an
talk
hour
about.
in.
Is that where we're at? Yeah. An hour? Wow, that went by fast.
Preach, Jerry, preach. We must be talking about mine locked up. He must be talking about the pumpkin spice.
What locked up?
Sarah Mitchell said apple cinnamon is greater than pumpkin spice.
I would.
Cinnamon. See? Cinnamon.
I don't.
Yeah,
need,
but I'll agree with that because anything apple I love.
I don't need any of this shit.
No.
You don't like a good apple pie?
I don't need any spices.
Apple cinnamon crumble. You don't need any spices? That's bull. That's bull crap. You don't like pepper?
Yeah, I like pepper.
Oh, okay.
Is that a spice?
So you enjoy spices then, huh?
Is that a spice?
Of course it is. It's the essence of all spice.
You want to know what's crazy is one time I was in Mexico with my
That's not crazy.
friend Carlos, and we were at his hacienda at his farm.
Taking a siesta.
At his farm, and he's like,
Nueve.
he's like, hey, come over to this tree. So I go over to this tree, and he's like, grab a leaf. So he picks off a leaf, and he's like, rub it in your hands. So I rubbed it in my hands. He's like, smell it. I smell it, and I'm like, what is that? That is the most familiar smell. It was like super strong. It was the most familiar smell I could ever think of.
Mint.
And but I could not place it. I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And I was guessing, and I kept guessing wrong. And I just kept smelling it. I'm like, it smells so good. It smells so familiar. And it was pepper. It was a pepper tree,
Oh, really?
which I didn't even know was a tree.
Yeah, they're like peppercorns are a berry.
It's like a
basically.
fruit, but the leaf smelled like it.
Leaves.
And
It's
after
with a V.
and after he told me that, I'm like, oh yeah, it is pepper. But without any context,
Right. It
going
was hard
into
to
it,
place.
it didn't even smell like pepper until he told me it was pepper. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
So that's the new man scent.
Pepper.
Pepper?
Pepper deodorant. Without the burn.
Burn.
I like the name Pepper.
Pepper Potts.
Pepper Ann, much too cool for 7th grade. Pepper Ann,
Yeah.
she's like one in a million.
That's what we're going to name our next kid.
You going
Amy
for
and
number
I.
4, huh?
If Jet was a girl, his name was going to be Piper.
Okay. He's not.
No, I know, but that was our girl name, Piper.
I was going to be named Sam. If I was a girl. Samantha. Sam. That was really dumb.
What's crazy is if Cash was a girl, he was going to be named Leia.
Coin.
I was going to be Leia. And we
Serious?
agreed on it.
Really?
Yeah. And
So what was wrong with the next one being
okay,
named
so
Leia?
and so we're like, okay, that's the name. But then he was a boy, so we named him Cash. And then the next time around, we had a girl.
And you're
I'm
like,
like, oh, obviously it's Leia.
I would never do Leia.
I'm like,
Terrible idea.
Well, Leia, that was her name, right? And we're just both like, we both thought about it for like a couple days, and we're like, nah.
Nah.
Isn't that weird?
We're going to name it Piper Parabo.
You know, originally the real reason is because we thought everybody would call her Leia.
Okay.
They even do it in Star Wars.
Do they?
Grand Moff Tarkin
Says Leia?
says Princess Leia.
Oh, well, he's wrong.
Yeah, he is wrong.
It's kind of like the girl. So we went to school with a girl named Leah something. But I think it was Leia.
No. I mean, I went to
How
school
do
with a
you-
girl named Leah.
What was her name?
Well, I'm not going to say her
It was,
name.
her name was Leah.
Started with a P.
Are you
Her
sure?
last name. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
It was not Leia. It was Leah. That's
How,
Leah.
how do you know?
Leia was. Oh, this was the other problem.
How
I
do
can
you know?
never
Maybe
remember
she
how to
wanted to
spell it.
pronounce the other way.
Leia was Leia. Leia.
Leia. Yeah, that was Leia.
Anyway, let's go on to the news.
Okay. So I got a little bit of news here about the new Spider-Man 3 movie. So it's obviously coming out.
Right
We
up your
talked
alley,
about
Greg.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is right up your alley. Doctor Strange is apparently going to be in this movie and set to play as the mentor type character for Tom Holland, which I thought was interesting. They also have the addition of like Jamie Foxx, who's going to reprise the role of Electro.
Yep.
Is that the name? So obviously what the speculation is that they are going to dive into the multiverse, and
Yeah, because I've heard Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire may possibly be in
no
it.
way.
That's what I heard.
This could be huge then.
I don't.
That
was
seems
just
kind of fun.
speculation from Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, but
That seems kind of fun to me if
does.
they did that. But this one right now with Jamie Foxx, that doesn't blow me away. Having Doctor Strange involved, I like tapping into like the multiverse of madness, which is obviously happening for Doctor Strange. and getting into like WandaVision, they were talking about too, because Marvel is gonna debut that on Disney Plus. But
Did you ever see Doctor Strange?
No.
You missed
oh
out.
my gosh,
That's
you're
a hell
missing
of
out.
a movie.
You haven't. You can still watch
I
it.
can still watch it, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Hank says hi.
Hi, Hanky Doo.
Oh, hey, Hanky.
You want to talk about a Spider-Man guy? That's your man.
Really?
Oh my God, Jet is obsessed with Spider-Man
Yeah.
too, and they're
He
like the same age almost.
Why
loves
just Spider-Man 2?
No, Spider-Man also.
Oh, all right. I thought just Spider-Man 2. I was like, well, that's weird.
The boy loves his Spider-Man underwear.
Does he watch Spider-Man though? Because Jet will watch. That's all he wants to watch.
Oh, really? Like the old cartoon?
He'll
or-
watch the '90s cartoon. He loves it. He'll watch the newer one, like Ultimate Spider-Man, but there's a newer one than that. I think it's just called Spider-Man. He'll watch that, which is it's pretty new. I think it's still running. And then he'll watch the movies, like the Tom Holland movies.
Really?
Yeah, he loves Spider-Man.
That's crazy. He must have got it from your blood.
Like in the morning, he'll come into the room at like 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Be like, turn on the TV.
And he says, "Excuse me, Father. May I watch the Spider-Man?"
And I roll over and I'll be like, "What do you want?"
Get out of here.
And we're like, "Movie." I'm like, "Okay."
TV.
"What do you want to watch?" "Spider-Man." I'm like, "Deal."
And you're like,
You just made me happy.
yeah, we're going to watch that.
I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to get into the Marvels thing.
Well, you're just...
Are you a true unicorn like Timmy McDonald? Have you never seen
Have
any
you-
of them?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like
So,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Do you know Tim McDonald?
Yeah.
Guest in our podcast. We
few
had
times,
him
yeah.
on here a couple
Good friend
times,
of mine.
3 times. The first time on here, it was because he had never watched any Marvel movie, ever. None of them. 0. So he went on this journey of watching every Marvel movie, which at the time was like 27 of them or
Yes.
something, over the course of...
No, it's like 22, right? 22 or 23.
Over the course of like 6 months,
It was pretty quick.
and got really into it. And he's not a comic book guy or anything.
No, not at all.
And then he
Never
came
has
back
been.
in here at the end, and he like
Recapped his
recapped the
experience.
experience, and then we also went movie by movie.
And he ranked them because we had the
ranked
top
them,
10
and we ranked
Marvel
them.
movies that we had.
crap.
But then when he came back, we decided to redo our top 10 because more movies had come out since we had done it originally. And he gave us his top 10 and recapped, obviously, him watching these movies. And it was so fun to listen to a guy that was like ingesting this stuff for the first time because
We're
these
in the bag
movies-
for it.
well, yeah, but these movies span such a large amount of time,
Right.
right? You're
Talking
talking
about 15 years, no, since 2009.
yeah, since 2011 years of movies coming out that you don't really remember all that well. I mean, if you watch Iron Man, the original Iron Man over and over again, you might remember what
Should, because
that's like.
movie.
But there are so many movies in between there
Yeah.
that you kind of lose track of because all of a sudden Avengers started being the big thing, and Infinity War and Endgame, and it overshadowed the rest of it.
So, for everybody listening that knows me, this might come as a shock, but I'm not a comic book guy. I don't get into Star Trek and all that kind of stuff.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my gosh! Continue.
But anyway, starting to get into it, watch the Guardian of the Galaxies. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Started watching and stuff. The thing that, like, for me, starting into it and that kind of thing that is annoying is how, like, the timeline jumps, and somebody that's just coming into it, you're like, okay, what's this movie playing off
You kind
of?
of have to start at the beginning.
But I don't know where the beginning is. I don't even know where to start.
Iron Man,
I mean, Iron Man is
And
the
that's-
very first one. They have. You could just Google like,
viewing order.
viewing order of Marvel movies, and
Some of them you don't have to watch in order. Like Guardians of the Galaxy does not relate to any of them until
Right.
Infinity War.
And that's
Well, the
and I
only-
just watched that the other day.
But to be honest, the only reason it does relate is because they do play in later in the timeline. So if you didn't watch them, it wouldn't make sense later in the timeline. Anyway, so
Right.
it does. They all do relate in some way.
Well, just like Captain America and stuff, he like starts popping in movies. Is like, where the hell did he come from?
So what have you
He's
seen?
kind of a mainstay.
What have you seen?
Huh?
What have you seen of the Marvel movies?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, as far as the names, I don't remember. I just flip through, and if I haven't seen it, kick it on.
Have you seen Captain America: Winter Soldier? Because
Yes.
you will love that movie.
I think I've seen all the Captain Americas, the latest ones.
Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Those are good. Doctor Strange, I loved. I think you'd like it. Although I will say, I mean, it was better in theaters,
Yes. So
but it's
with
still great.
It's like a big picture type movie, like that you have to watch on a big screen like that to get the full effect. Because on a TV, it's just
It's still great if you haven't seen it.
yeah, but
before.
you don't get the same effect that you do in a movie
The
theater.
3D
But either way,
was
it's worth
mind
the watch.
blowing. It was like
Yeah.
watching Avatar for the first time, the first movie I ever saw in
Yep.
3D.
Me too.
And you just walk out of there.
No, my first movie that I saw in 3D was Beowulf. It came out way early, and I fell asleep. It's the only movie I fell asleep in
Is
a movie
it
theater.
Antonio Banderas in that? Or are you talking about the animated version?
The animated Beowulf.
Yeah, it was
And
one of the
3D.
first CG animated movies. It was like right before Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it was awful. It was really bad.
Avatar. That was the first family trip.
Yeah, to Arkansas.
To No, it wasn't Arkansas. I thought we went
Yeah.
to Missouri.
Well, Missouri. Yeah, we were in Missouri. Here's the deal. We
Missouri?
didn't see it in 3D
No,
though.
we did not.
Missouri.
And it was still good.
Yeah.
But then I came home and watched it in 3D. It was the first thing I had seen in 3D, and it blew your mind. I mean, it was game changer. And the movie's okay. You know, it's Dances with Wolves.
Right.
It is. It's legitimately Dances with
space.
Wolves.
On a different
But it's still a great movie. I'm waiting for more sequels. But anyway, how do we get into that? Doctor Strange. That's a good one. All the Ant-Man movies are also phenomenal.
Ant-Man's
Started
very good.
Watched Ant-Man and Wasp, but I had it turned on in the garage.
The first one is better. By
I've
far.
seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen it, and then I watched the Wasp because I seen the first one, so I watched Ant-Man and Wasp. But I had it playing in the background while I was working on a project in the garage, so I really didn't pay a whole lot of
I honestly
attention.
barely remember Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It
It's
didn't
fine.
catch. It didn't catch my attention.
I think it's fun because it's what's that lady's name? She's more involved.
Oh yeah, the chick from Lost.
Yes, and I don't remember her name because I never remember anything.
Thor Ragnarok is the
Oh.
shit.
That's the jam
Yeah,
right
I've
there.
seen-
That movie is so fun, and you will very much enjoy
Well, yeah,
that.
text that one to me because I won't remember.
Yeah.
You
That-
won't remember the name Ragnarok.
No.
Thor Ragnarok.
Literally, he's fighting a gigantic demon in hell, and it goes.
That actually sounded pretty good on headphones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Everything I
we
do.
always sound good on our headphones. It's the day after. It's the day after where you go back and listen to it. And you're just like, ugh,
But
golly.
definitely like the Marvels, but that's the one thing that I don't know what the timeline is. And that is exactly why I've never seen Star Wars because I the timeline.
Oh,
and
we got to do that on the
I
next
haven't-
episode. We'll do it just for you and for Mr. Kevin Seedtop, who is a Duke of Snarf. Mm-hmm. He wanted us to go over our Star Wars viewing order.
yes.
So we'll do
Which-
that as a
because
podcast.
if the timeline
We have
jumps all
done
over,
once-
it drives me bonkers.
Well,
And
we've
it-
actually done this once before on the show.
We did,
'cause-
but we did it really quickly.
Because Kurg Blagojevich.
Yes. Kurt Blagojevich.
Blagojevich asked us to do that, and we did.
Yeah, but we'll do it again just for our Duke.
I mean, since he doesn't apparently listen to older episodes.
We
I guess
also
we'll do it.
need to have our David Seedtop was wrong segment.
Oh yeah, was he wrong about anything this week?
Shit, I don't remember.
I don't.
Well, he chastised us for about Panda Express.
Wrong.
He called
big
us all
time.
kinds of names.
Yeah, he said that we eat cafeteria food because we put McDonald's
Says the
on
guy
a
who goes to
pedestal.
Panda Express at the mall.
Exactly.
And he gets a tray.
Yeah.
And
What are you gonna do? Go to Stock and Field and then stop at Panda Express when it's built there because it's gonna be right next to Stock and Field. So you've got this dog shit agricultural store that has nothing in it, and then you're gonna go to Panda Express and eat burnt rice and dog. Isn't that what they serve? It's like their number. It's like I'll have a number one.
orange chicken, lo mein.
Yeah. They're like, what? You want a orange poodle?
I've actually had dog before.
You've eaten a dog.
Yep, on pizza
Over in China.
in South Korea.
Oh, Korea.
Yeah.
That's-
I went
okay.
out to eat with pizza with a group of students, high school students. They were my sister's students.
Okay.
She kind of hooked it up for us. She's like, oh, it'll be culture.
I'm gonna hook you up at this famous dog restaurant.
So she wasn't with us. She just hooked us up with some of her students. We went out for pizza
All right.
because they were excited. They were in an English class. They wanted to go out, with somebody that speaks English and American.
Somebody as cool as you.
Yeah, exactly. So,
It's like he knows the
man,
Duke of Worchestershire.
your wife was with us. Anyway, so we went to this restaurant. We ate pizza, and we ordered several pizzas because they were smaller kind of pizzas, and we all kind of shared. And one of them, they got dog on. They got a kick out of it. Like, oh, we're gonna get dog, and this American's gonna eat it. And I'm like, I'll eat that shit. Hook it up.
And
I don't remember what it tastes like. It was fine, I guess.
oh,
But they
you didn't get violently ill or parasites or brain worms.
no, we went to a couple dog farms though.
I s-
We saw a dog farm. We didn't go to a dog farm. We saw a dog farm.
So what kind of dog?
They were like lean looking, kind of almost greyhoundy looking dogs.
I don't feel like that was the one I would breed for meat.
No.
Anyway, so they got a real
Very
kick
lean,
out of
very
us
lean.
eating this, and then they're laughing about it. Whatever.
Yeah,
They're like, this isn't normal. We don't normally eat dog. Like it's not a normal thing.
But it's
for
on
them
the
to eat.
menu.
But apparently
It was on a menu, but I don't know if it's one of those things like, how anchovies is on the menu, and I love anchovies, but most people don't get them.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's probably that same thing, I would assume.
I gotcha. That makes
And
sense.
it's like the only time they would really eat it would be like for some kind of like a ceremonial thing, like a holiday.
My brother did that with horse. He had horse meat.
I've heard horse meat is excellent.
I've heard it's delectable because my brother said phenomenal meat.
I've heard that from
Loved
several
it.
people that have had horse meat.
He enjoyed it thoroughly, and I watched. It's from Barstool Sports, but there's this like
Dave Portnoy?
no, it's another guy. Donnie does so. Donnie, that works for Barstool, was like flying around all over the country or all over the world
Eating
and
horse?
He went to China and they had horse meat, and he
I think
tried
you
it
can get
in a
horse
restaurant.
meat in the United
No,
States.
it's
of America.
banned in the United States. Can't get it.
What
I
if it's an
thought-
old mare?
Old gray mare. She ain't what she used to be. You know.
I thought there was like a state that
Yeah, there's somewhere you could. If the horse has to be put down for like a health reason, like it broke a leg or something.
way.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that if the horse
This has got to be an Alabama thing.
has to be put down, then the meat can be consumed.
Nothing against Alabama. I just feel like
I think it's one of those laws that's like
that's Gator.
that goes back to like the olden days. Like, if you got to put your horse down, you're at least
Yeah.
going to utilize it.
You better eat it.
If you're gonna put your horse down, it's
If
gotta
you're
be on
going to
dinner
shoot
table.
that horse, you're going to eat it, son.
Yeah, penis first.
And then the dad's just sitting there in the garage watching their kid just crying and eating horse.
Yeah, he's like, cut that leg off.
sharpening his knife.
It's like the whole thing. Like if the dad catches the kid smoking, they make him smoke the whole pack.
It's like, now you're gonna eat this whole horse.
If you're gonna shoot horses, son, you're gonna eat them.
Start
You know-
at the tail.
You know how much money I've spent on this thing.
You ever had a
I
good
bet the
horse
greatest
ham?
day of anybody that owns a horse's life is the day they shoot and eat that horse.
It's like, you've cost me so much money. I'm at least gonna get it back in nutrition.
Horses are like boats. There's 2 days to make you happy: the day you bought it
And the day you got rid of it. Yeah,
I don't think I'd be that happy if I bought a horse.
No,
I'm. Not, I
My
know.
daughter-
I've been watching Yellowstone, and it's been making me more interested in horses.
My wife has always loved horses because
your
her
wife
aunt,
wants to raise goats.
her aunt
Oh,
loves
God,
horses
yeah, I
and
know she
raises
does.
them. I don't want any part of horses. Gary doesn't want any horse on his farm whatsoever.
My daughter is infatuated with horses at the moment.
Yeah, my niece, his daughter, she's already started the horse journey. That's going to bankrupt you.
Yeah, it is.
I'm well.
You need
I'm
to-
well aware.
You need to end that now.
I'm well aware.
Yeah, you're gonna have
And
to
every
tell
time
her
I
they're
take her to
fake.
every
Tell her
time-
like, this is a fake. It's not real. This is all
Oh
just
no,
in the
she's
movies.
like standing in the saddle while the horse
I
is walking
know.
now. Yeah,
I
she's,
saw.
She's a badass.
She's riding horses all the
Yeah.
time. My niece does it too.
She, yeah. So she
Because my
every time-
brother and sister-in-law bought a horse recently, and it's like 74 years old. It's like this crippled horse. I don't know.
horse
This
people.
this horse thing. It's a trap because every time I take her to horse, it's a trap. Every time I take her to horse lessons,
It's a Star Trek thing.
the horse teacher is always wanting to like sell us something, a dog or a pygmy goat or a horse. It's like no.
Fainting goat.
They
You
get
need to
you.
the
They'll get
fainting
you. The
goats.
horse might seem cheap until then they slap you with like the boarding fees.
Well, they're wanting to board another horse.
Mm-hmm.
It's only $150 a month
Yeah.
until next fucking month.
Right. And it's like, all right, it's $200 now because
Oh, we're going broke.
yeah, your horse
$300.
has 4 legs. We thought it was 3-legged. It's got 4 legs. It's going to be $200 now. That's what they do. That's how they get you.
It's a hay burner. It's just no good. No
That's
good.
exactly what they are.
All right, you got more news?
Yeah, I got another story here. So this was submitted to us from a fan, Miss Erica Fry. She sent a link. Warner Brothers has reportedly delayed the date of Dune's release. They pushed it back a full year.
You texted me this, and I was so upset I purposely didn't even respond because it makes me.
A full year.
It's
They went
done,
from
isn't it? Isn't it done?
yes, it's done.
Why would they do this?
It was coming out. It was set to come out in October of 2021. No, I'm sorry. November of 2021. Now it's 2020. November of 2020 is when Dune was supposed to come out. That's next month. They've pushed it back to October of 2021.
This is a freaking tragedy in my life.
It's unbelievable that they're doing this. I don't understand why. Well, it's all because of
It's
the
'cause of
COVID
COVID.
deal,
It's
and you
'cause
can't
of
go to the
COVID.
theaters and blah.
They
blah,
want to
blah.
make $1 billion.
Rona.
Yeah, they do, and I don't blame them for that. But I feel like
You know
they
what
could
this
still
is?
do it.
You know what
I wanna make
precipitated
$1 billion.
You know what precipitated all of this? The financial failure of Mulan.
Is it a failure?
I mean, I know it made $250 million,
I thought it made.
but that
more
would have
than
been
that.
$1 billion movie. All right.
Yeah.
And so everybody saw that. Every studio that had a big movie in the works looked at that and goes
And-
like, that was $1 billion movie and it made $250 million. It cost $200 million to make.
Yeah, and you made
Still only
50
made
million
50.
off of it.
No, they didn't make 50 because they advertised it. They did all this shit.
Not.
They probably
they
lost
didn't
money on the deal.
They didn't advertise as much as you normally would, though.
They still think of what they lost in merchandising, right? So if you have a $1 billion hit,
That's a big thing.
if you got a $1 billion hit movie, Mulan, and Christmas is coming up, you're going to sell $1 billion worth of Mulan toys. Not going to sell those.
It's true.
Yeah.
But you know who the biggest advertisement from Juan has been for me? Chris Harford.
Oh, really?
I
Did
haven't
you
even
watch?
seen it yet, so
I was gonna
It's
say,
like
did you watch
it's
it
like
all?
every podcast I listen to, he just brings up Juan.
yeah, I wanted to watch it.
I
still
know.
haven't
You were
watched
And
very
we just
excited about
and
it.
Erica just told us like she loved
it.
it.
She loved it.
Erica needs to send me an instant message. I want to know how she's doing.
She seems good.
I haven't talked to her for a long time.
Oh, all right. Well, you heard it here, folks.
She's definitely going to listen.
Erica,
so-
reach out to Greg.
Her brother's listening, right?
Reach out to Howdy and let him know how you're doing.
Marsha Mel is listening.
Hey,
Hey, Marsha.
Mellon.
hey, Mrs. Mellon. I'm respectful. Okay,
Since when?
right now. Also, along with this Warner Brother news of the Dune movie being pushed back,
Don't say it ain't so, Jerry.
the Batman movie, due to coronavirus pandemic lockdown and physical distancing measures that have closed theaters worldwide, it is also being pushed back a year.
To 2022?
2022.
I guess there's a reason to live longer.
It's the only reason at this point to live longer is these movies being pushed back.
So
Because I thought by like May when Batman was supposed to come out, wasn't it like spring?
October. That Dune took its release date.
Oh, October.
That's
of
why they
2020.
pushed it.
That's right. Yeah, that's the only reason why I was going to live that long.
They could always change this, but it's funny.
Just in a Jerry's
I was
life
listening
a year.
to Fat Man.
They better change it.
Fat Man Beyond, and they were talking about how I think it was J.J. Abrams is making a Dr. Seuss movie. Oh, the places they'll go.
Really?
So they announced that
We read that in the in FFA,
Yeah.
in Jeff Meyerhofer's class.
a 10-minute long story that they're going to make a 2-hour movie on, apparently. Anyway,
Impossible.
so J.J. Abrams is making this movie.
All right.
They have announced it. They made a big hoopla about it. Release date 2027.
What?
Why would you
What are you
even
doing?
announce it? That is.
Normally they wouldn't.
First
They
of all,
wouldn't announce.
I don't
anything
even
like
know if we're even going to exist in 2027. The way things are
that.
going.
Oh, the places we'll go. We can't go anywhere.
death
Yeah,
is where we'll
we're gonna go straight to the grave.
The fucking apocalypse. That's the places we'll
Thank
go.
you. Thank you for letting us know where we're gonna go.
We're like, all right, 2027. Thanks for letting us know about something that probably is never going to happen.
Never going to exist. I tell you what, JJ,
Yellowstone's going to blow up, man. It's a super volcano. If that blows, we're all done. We're toast.
Oh, that's
it will immediately kill everybody.
Yeah, and that's
agree
no
with
joke.
you.
I mean,
I
that's
agree
a
with
real
you, and I
thing.
think that's how we're all going.
That's how we're going, man. It's going to happen.
super volcanoes are the
Probably
worst.
like the week before. Oh, the places we'll go.
It's like we're set up. Let's watch this movie. Super volcano destroys the world.
I hope not, because there's so many more
never.
seasons of The Mandalorian.
Yes, I also hope not, Chris, for multiple other reasons other than the Mandalorian. Although that is coming out very soon, like a couple weeks, right? Second season of
Is it?
Mandalorian.
Oh,
End of October.
you
It's
just
like
gave me
October
another reason to
24th.
live, Jerry.
It's the only reason why I'm making it to the end of this month is the Mandalorian. There was another one.
There is another something.
There is another something.
But I can't
Like
remember
a
what.
little something. You know what I'm saying?
All right, give us some more news. We got to do what we're watching. We're running out of time.
No,
here.
that was my last little bit of news. I had a topic I was going to talk about.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay, so I was going to bring up just like some things. Like we all grew up in the 90s, right? How old were you in the 90s? 27, 28?
Yeah.
Like from 90
24.
to 99.
I was from 6 to 16.
And I was from 3 to
13.
13. Yeah. So,
When I was 8. Yeah.
wow, you're old.
So 6 to
Wow.
16 definitely I had more of my formidable years in the 90s than you.
Even at 13.
You were more of an early 2000er.
At 13 years old in 99, you think I was a
Well, no, you're right. I'm
like 8, 9, 10, 11,
yeah,
12,
you're right.
13?
8. So I don't think you can count the
Late
3
90s.
to 8 years very well.
Correct. I agree with
Or
you.
3 to 7.
So I'm working on like
Late 90s.
96 to 99.
Late 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
You remember what I remember the 90s was my sister, who's 6 years older than I am,
Okay.
was always my babysitter during the summer.
Of course.
And every morning I'd come downstairs all excited during the summer. I'm going to watch my, Donald Duck, watch my cartoons, whatever. And my sister had the tape recording MTV. So, like, I remember White Snake and all those,
yeah.
because that's what I had to watch instead of my cartoons was MTV.
And here's the difference with me is that my brother was 8 years older than me, and everything my brother watched, it was forced on me. Everything my brother did,
But
was
your brother
forced
watched
on me.
cool shit.
And it was cool shit. Like I
Like
loved it.
Akira.
To be honest, like that was more of like formative in those years than anything else. Like the only
you
reason I
got-
watched the things I did was because my brother was forcing me into this stuff and molding
so
me.
you did get the late 80s and early 90s stuff funneled into your mid to late 90s.
Because of him.
Yeah.
And it really is. But what I was going to bring up is like
Yes, Jerry, please tell us. Where are you going with that?
So like 90s toys and 90s like
they were made of metal.
Not all toys, but just things that we had in school and in our daily life that are things that you just really don't see at all anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like our kids will think it's absolutely ridiculous. Just like we think our parents are ridiculous when they bring up like random shit and you're just like, all right, like that doesn't had no effect on me whatsoever. Why are you talking about this? I feel like these are this way.
I don't
So-
know about that because 90s was the greatest decade of the
You're right.
history of mankind.
But like you said before we even started, Tamagotchi.
yeah.
Tamagotchis. Do you remember these?
Tamagotchi
I
pets.
think
They were like
you were a little bit too old, I think, for a Tamagotchi.
He's the same age as me. They were little
He's older than you.
by like
2
6
years.
months.
Way 2 years.
No. 1 year.
What is the year of your birth?
82.
Oh, 84.
2 years. There you go. All right. I'm glad I cleared that
It's not
up for
really
you.
though because he is in October and I'm in March. So it's like more like 18 months.
You win. You got me. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, Tamagotchis were like this handheld animal that you raised.
Yeah, it was like on a keychain, and you fed them. You had to feed them food, or
it was such a big deal.
I never had one.
Oh, I had one. My sister had one. Everybody in my class had one.
I just remember the stupid commercials.
They
were
definitely.
awful.
He wasn't too young because my sister Mandy had one, and she's the same age as you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Actually, 2 months and 2 days older.
Ooh.
Wow, she is way older than you. Cougar.
Mandy said, "Remember the goldfish on the computer?" Yeah, I do. There was a
Goldfish
goldfish
on the computer?
Yeah, there was a program on our old computer that was like a goldfish. I don't remember if it was a screensaver or it was like, I think it was a screensaver, but it was an interactive screensaver.
Okay.
And you would feed
Oh,
it.
yeah,
You could feed it and it would come up and eat the food.
Was that on a gateway?
You could play. Yeah, it was on a gateway.
It had to have been on a gateway.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And you could feed it. You could like interact with it and play with it.
I do remember the goldfish.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a good pull.
That was a good pull. 90s,
That was really
right
good.
There.
There was
another thing in the 90s, and we're talking about gateway computers. There was another thing. This was part of Microsoft. It was called Microsoft Bob.
I don't remember that.
And it was this little program. It was a program inside that came with like Microsoft 95.
Okay.
Windows 95.
Windows 90. Yep.
And it was called Microsoft Bob. And you would open it up and it would be a house. And there was like a little dog in it.
Yes.
And you could do stuff in this house. You could like
With
go
the
into different
dog.
rooms, play with the dog, do other things.
Okay, I remember the dog. I don't remember the house, but I do remember the dog. But do you remember Clippy
Yeah, of course.
with Word?
That was around into the 2000s.
Yeah, but that was a thing that is like non-existent anymore, and a lot of people don't remember Clippy.
Yeah.
But
Remember
Clippy,
Clippy?
Nope.
In Microsoft Word, it was this little
Paperclip.
animated paperclip that would give you tips. It was really
Oh,
obnoxious.
yeah.
It helped you out if you needed any help.
Yep,
apparently
yep.
with Word, and
Yeah.
you could click on it, and you could also he could also save notes for you.
So
Well, so my wife can attest that I can't spell for shit. So he popped up all the time. Then finally, he just told me
Yeah, and then Clippy's like, I've quit. Greg can't spell, and I'm overworked.
Microsoft Bob was Microsoft's like great idea of like teaching people how to use a computer.
Yeah.
So it was like a house, and if you wanted to like write a letter, you would walk over to the desk and click on the piece of paper on the
remember
desk.
it.
So it's
and
like-
it would
Yep.
pull up Microsoft Word.
Oh,
It was like Windows.
it was like interactive
but
Sims.
as a house.
Yeah.
And he had a library and had like the books and stuff on the shelf.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that would be if you clicked on it, an encyclopedia thing
Yep.
would come up, or if you clicked on your checkbook, Quicken would come up,
Yeah.
and it was. But there was little games you could play with it. It was super dumb.
So here's
but
what I
played with it all
remember
the time.
about the 90s as a kid is that, and I don't feel like it's not put out to kids the same way, like how commercials were. Commercials when we were kids
They
was
were
a lot-
rad.
were rad like crazy, but they were better. Honestly, like they were something I like vividly remember, and I don't feel like there is no commercial anymore for kids. There's advertisements, yes, that pop up, but it's not the same
It's
way.
not the same. No, commercials are like I remember Crossfire,
Crossfire,
Tornado Rex,
Bop
Grape
It.
Escape, Bop It.
Skip It.
Yeah, I remember all of them.
because a lot of the toys in the 90s were made of metal and they didn't break.
Well, they were just starting to get into the whole plastic
No,
era. though.
plastic was big.
Plastic was big in the 90s.
90s
where
was
they
a
were like,
plastic time.
They were coming into all the plastic, and they're like, look how many things we can make out of plastic. That was a commercial.
I was the Ertl tractor kid.
Well,
so
of course,
it was
Ertl
all-
was a big deal. But all of these commercials were like so vivid in my memory, and it sold me hard on everything I needed. It was like,
I want that.
Have you seen this kid smile, Mom? Look at that kid have fun right now.
They never were as good when you got them.
He's so happy because he's shooting a marble.
No, my favorite
Add
were always
another
the
marble.
ones where like it was like some kind of tank or like war type toy, and but
yeah.
the kids were playing with it, but it was in like a built warscape, and they'd like come over a hill
Yeah.
and like shoot a missile and like blow up a bunch of guys,
Yep.
and you're
you'd
like, this
see
is
him-
it. This is what I want to do.
Yep.
And then you get it at home, and you're just like,
You're like,
click
wait,
the button, and the little plastic dart goes. Poof.
Goes like 6 inches. In
You're like, oh my god, where's
you
the
remember,
dirt? Where's the camera angles?
I can't remember exactly. Street Sharks. Do you remember Street Sharks?
Yeah, I remember Street Sharks. They were like punks with shark heads.
Yes, and they were
like a shark gang.
action figures that you could buy. It was a shark gang. It was basically the Marvel universe, or no, the DC universe. What's his name?
King Shark.
King Shark. That's basically every single action figure. But you had like the Hammerhead, the Tiger Shark,
I remember
the Great
that.
White, which was like the leader of the gang, and Street Sharks. Man, I had them, and I used to take my.
I never
little,
had a Street Shark, but I do remember them.
Oh, I had a bunch of Street Sharks, and then I'd take my little skateboards, my little fingerboards.
I remember those.
Remember fingerboards?
That was
Yeah,
that was,
it was-
that was a high school.
That was a little late for me.
Yeah, that was high school.
I was older when those were a thing.
Either way, I'd take these little fingerboards and then make my Street Sharks ride around on them.
Yeah.
So
My-
it was,
Do you remember the biker mice from Mars?
of course,
That was awesome.
Biker Mice from Mars.
It was a
Have to
cartoon.
explain 'em. Oh no.
It was a cartoon of
Let's see.
biker mice from Mars.
Trolls.
Okay.
Yeah,
Troll
that's bigger now than it's ever been. It's bigger now than it was in the 90s.
That's where it started. Troll dolls. My sister used to collect them,
I went to Halloween.
and they were
Okay.
naked.
So
Beanie Babies.
I got to
Oh
that.
God, Beanie Babies.
I got to the age and whatever age you get where you're like on the fence about like dressing up in a Halloween costume and trick or treating.
Yeah,
So I didn't.
I never got to that.
I wasn't gonna do it, so I didn't prepare any costume. But then the last minute, I'm like, oh, I want to have a costume.
I need to put something on my body.
And we weren't like a big costume family. Like there was no elaborate costumes.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was like a last minute deal. And I'm like, I need a costume. So my mom like just grabbed random shit that we had around. We had like a Halloween box.
Closet.
And so she's like, oh, you can be like a troll doll.
You're
And I'm like,
yeah.
a troll doll? I mean, they weren't even cool then.
They really weren't. You're right. They really
And
weren't.
I'm like, I'm not being a fucking troll doll. And so she gets it out. It's a troll mask and a button that says troll for president. And she says, you could be a troll for president. And I'm like in fourth grade.
You're like, I'm
not going to
not
be a
doing
fucking
this.
troll for president. Like, that's not happening.
I'm not doing this.
So we took my old Robin Hood costume,
Okay.
the troll mask, and she had these witch fingernails that you put over your fingers that were
yeah.
Mandy's from her costume the year before.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can be like an evil troll.
It sounds like
Either
a
way,
jam
you're gonna
to
be a
me.
goddamn troll.
And that's what I did. And it was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened.
It's like still haunting me to this day. Like multiple people have come up and said, "Remember that troll costume?
Troll? Really?
Remember those shit fingers you wore?"
Yeah, but it was like the standard. It was like that troll mask that goes just below your nose, and then it had the hair that sticks up. I mean, it was ridiculous.
That's so bad.
Anyway, go ahead.
But I remember, like when I was a kid, Beanie Babies were huge. Everybody wanted to buy Beanie Babies. They
Yep.
wanted to have them. They wanted to collect them. There's a
We had a bunch
article
of them.
in a video that I've watched of a husband and wife that had collected so many Beanie Babies, and then they were getting divorced. And during, like, they were in court, and during their court appearance, they sat in front of the judge and sorted out Beanie Babies for each other because this was a big deal where people thought these were going
Yeah.
to be worth money.
I had some that we
Like-
thought were worth money.
large amounts of money.
Funny story on that. So my grandparents were those people.
Oh,
They-
really?
yeah, they collected them because they were going to be. They were
the people on the video that got divorced and sorted
No.
out. Oh,
But they were the collectors because they were going to be a gold mine. And
they were specific ones. If you got,
right.
you know, Spotty the dog.
The
and-
tie-dyed ghost, that was worth a lot of money.
And so
I don't remember any of their names. Or
I
what they
remember. Yeah, I bumped that. Sorry. I remember whenever we were cleaning out so we sold Grandma and Grandpa's farm, and I remember we were cleaning out back storage room or whatever. Totes and totes and totes of Beanie Babies. Like gigantic 50-gallon garbage bags full of Beanie Babies. It's like, what the fuck do we do with these?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's
Little
like, well,
animals.
Did you sell them?
Did we sell them?
You could have put them on eBay.
Honestly, I don't have no idea. I mean, it was...
They're probably worth something on eBay.
I
So-
guarantee you could get some people to buy them on eBay.
So my
sure.
Craigslist.
my grandpa was, you know, he loved going to like farm auctions and stuff. But
Looking for
he was,
Beanie Babies.
But he was that guy that, you know, whenever got to the end of the auction, they're like, you know, a couple rack wagons of just random shit, and he'd be like, $1. He'd raise his hand, you know, buy all the shit and the rack wagon. That was the farm. It was just full of that kind of stuff. So by the time we got to the Beanie Babies, it's like, dumpster.
It's like we've got 4 racks full of 10-millimeter bolts.
You literally threw away
wants 'em?
gold.
Possibly.
There was this documentary. I didn't watch it, but I heard it talked about or advertised about like some guy that spent like $400,000, like his entire life savings. He took all the money out of his 401k.
Oh my God.
Investing in Beanie Babies. There's a documentary about it.
Here's something more ridiculous.
Beanie Babies, Bitcoin. Sounds familiar.
Now, Bitcoin's actually still worth something.
It is.
It's actually worth a lot right now.
There's 2 more. Well, I've got a lot more, but there's 2 more that kind of on the same stretch as Beanie Babies. But there's Pogs.
Yeah, I
You
remember Pogs for sure. Yeah.
Making my sister had a Pog maker.
I was never into Pogs at all.
What was it?
I was only
There were just those little cardboard circles.
discs.
That's what I
Discs.
thought. Yeah.
And you could cut them out and put
Whatever you
could basically
wanted
like
on 'em.
laminate something on top of them. And my sister would make a lot of like in sync ones.
and you like traded them or
You
something.
traded
right?
them, and then
Yeah.
there was a game.
there was like
You'd
a Pog game. It was
Stack
like
them up,
popping them,
and then you'd flick them
slamming
at the other person's stack, and whoever's was bigger at the end. I don't remember how it worked, but
It was something like that. You threw them or you flicked your Pog.
see, I was too busy during that
Apparently,
time.
there was not a lot of creativity in.
I was too busy at that time doing pencil wars.
Oh, dude, where you smack the other
Yeah.
guy's pencil and break it in half? yeah.
So we were like
Yeah.
on an ultimate quest to find the strongest
pencil.
And in our school, my 8th grade year, they installed a pencil machine.
They did. I remember the pencil machine.
And they'd have like
for a
Star
quarter.
Wars pencils or different like pencils.
But they were like-
solid.
they were
pencils.
they were like the
weren't-
oak.
They were
No,
the
they
pencils.
weren't oak. They were like a composite.
They were strong pencils. They were the round pencils, and then they'd have. Well, no,
They
they're
were
mostly
soft.
like NFL. Like
Yeah,
I
but-
remember getting Bears pencils.
I remember sharpening those and them feeling like a softer material than what a hard pencil was.
They're pretty strong.
They were strong because they could absorb the blow.
Yeah.
Like they weren't as brittle as a hard
That
pencil.
was your
They were
solid pencil war pencil.
I remember.
I remember the pencil machine.
Me and
being
Chad
such
Williams had a
big
little
deal.
business. It was more him than me, but of making pens, big pens,
Yeah.
into bow and arrows.
Oh yeah, that's
So, like, legitimately, we're selling them.
big deal. Gizmo did that in Gremlins.
Really?
With a,
Yep.
yeah, with a paper clip.
Paperclip. Yep.
You know, one of them like trifold paper clips. It's weird.
Yeah.
It like folds like this. It's a big one, and you put the whatever paper you're going to hold in between the big like leaves
Yeah.
of the paper clip. You fold that out, and you can make a bow and arrow out of it.
Oh, that's not what we did. So we take the big pen.
No, I know, and you put a rubber
story,
band
it's
through the middle of it,
Yeah, but then you take the inner part
and use that as the arrow.
and use that as the arrow.
Yeah.
And drill a hole through.
Do
the
what
middle.
now?
Yeah, we
So
obviously
you
know what you're
take-
talking about.
See, he doesn't know. So you take the outside of the big pen, the tube part,
Yeah.
and you drill a hole through the middle of it,
Okay.
or cut a hole through.
Yeah, chew through it.
Chew through it, whatever. But use a little knife, make a
with
little
your
hole.
rat
And then you
teeth.
take the inside part that has the ink straw.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you stick that through at like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
And you take a rubber band and you put it around the outside, and you can make a little bow and arrow. And they were
Yeah.
legit.
The hole you're cutting through it is basically your whisker biscuit.
What?
You're not
hell
not
you
up
talking
on bows and arrows apparently.
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A whisker biscuit. No, it literally holds your arrow, but it's got like whiskers that come out from a circle, and there's a hole in the middle of it, and it holds your arrow perfectly in line.
Yeah.
And then when it goes through that, it goes through the little whiskers to go straight. Like,
I don't
that's
know
all it's
anything
for.
about
Whisker
archery.
biscuits. Oh, you're an idiot.
Although the '90s archery That was my favorite toy. When Nerf got started, the Nerf
Oh,
bow
fuck
and
yeah.
arrow.
We had
was my favorite
Nerf bow
toy.
and arrow. We had one of those.
Here's the deal.
Especially whenever they bought me the extra
90s PE class where you got to roll around on those little
The scooters.
scooters
Yeah.
doing crab.
and break your fingers.
Scooters were awesome. That was the best. Whenever you saw those
scooter
scooters
around.
come out, you're like, we're golden.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, this is the best day of my life.
Well,
Nothing can surpass this day
until
in
they brought the
PE
roller skating.
or the
racks.
parachute.
did you guys do floor hockey?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
that's
did. You
Floor
can't
hockey
raise it
rock.
up
Love
above
floor
your
hockey.
hip.
But it was just, we never did roller hockey.
no.
No.
The roller skates the school didn't own, so they'd rent them for like a week,
Roller skate week.
and
though,
they bring
man.
them in, and then you do it. They just
We
like
had-
the line dancing guy would come in for a week.
Yeah.
Line dancing. I hated it.
I
You
know
did
that.
it
I
too?
know the
Oh,
line
yeah.
dancing teacher. I was friends with his son in high school. He
Not line dancing,
He
it was
worked
square
at
dancing.
Dave's Dogs in Morris.
He did?
and I became friends with him because one of my friends worked at Dave's Dogs with him.
Was this guy from Morris or
He was
Ottawa?
from Morris. He was from Morris.
Okay.
And I get to know this guy, and he's kind of a big guy,
Jacked.
real big. No,
Just
like
jacked.
the big fat guy.
Oh,
And
that's not nice.
You
so
drug it out,
I
I
get friends with him, and I find out later on down the road, after like 2 years of knowing him, that his dad was the little bitty guy that came and did the line dancing.
He was like my size.
He was tiny.
Yeah, and he's just a hell of a line dancer.
yeah, he was.
You know.
he could boot, scoot, and boogie.
Kick,
that's for
ball,
sure.
change.
Anyway, what do you got next?
Let's
Mandy
see.
says Eagle Man commercial.
I've got something for you. And then he shits out
Did you have
egg.
Eagle Man down in Central
Nah, I
Illinois?
have no idea what you're
Eagle
talking
Man was a
about.
Chicago thing. And vote for Ross Perot button. I think that might have been the vote for troll button that I wore. My mom might have crossed Ross Perot out.
Now, you're not listening to me here.
Now you gotta look at the
You
chart.
gotta look at the chart.
We got a deficit.
Ross Perot.
Furbies. Do you remember Furbies?
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember first. Never had one, but yeah.
We had, of course, we had one. For some reason, that was weird. Bedazzle.
Yes.
Everybody bedazzled things. Easy Bake Oven.
I
Obviously.
remember the movie Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser. Love
No,
that movie.
not that movie.
And
That was
Elizabeth
with Elizabeth
Hurley.
Hurley, yes.
I
She
was
was a fine looking lady.
Basically in love with her as a child.
Let's see. Yeah, skip it.
Nightlight.
Easy Bake
Nightlight.
Oven, but
Nightlight.
not only Easy Bake Oven, but creepy crawlers.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember creepy crawlers?
Is
So-
that where you threw him against the wall and then?
No, it was like an Easy Bake Oven, but designed for boys, and you would make these rubber like creepy crawlers. So you had a scorpion, a tarantula.
I do remember
like a
that. I didn't
snake,
have it, but yeah, I
and
do
you'd-
remember that.
You'd mix these compounds together into like a metal, like mold, and then you put them in your little oven. It'd heat it up, and you'd get a rubber
Yeah, I do remember that. I didn't
creepy
have it.
crawler.
And then on the commercial, the little boy like ran up to the girls
But then,
with it. And
yeah,
they all screamed.
but
and
then
ran away.
they made another one where you could do the same thing, but it made candy,
Oh,
and you could squirt these things in and make candy pieces that you could eat.
we didn't have that. But we did have this head that was a skeleton-looking head, like a zombie skeleton-looking head.
Okay.
And it was like a bust, all right? And you could put like slime in its head,
And
you'd squeeze it, and it would come out its
Nose.
nose, and its eyes would pop out, and it
Yeah.
had these little joysticks that you could move its eyes around.
I remember that.
We had that.
Yeah, I remember that one. Here's the big one for me is all the different handheld games that were made.
Oh my God!
Besides-
Yes, I forgot about those. The Tyco games.
Yeah,
little
besides
Tyco games.
Game Boy. Obviously, you had a Game Boy. Everybody had
games
Game
yeah,
were
Boy.
but
so
that was
terrible.
like Game Boy was like way.
Oh,
up.
Of
no,
course,
no,
that
no.
was like upper echelon, but-
that was way. I never
These-
had a Game Boy, but those
we had
little
a Game Boy.
Tyco games you'd get.
little $5.
I had
ones
a-
or
They were
whatever.
$5, $10.
a Mortal Kombat game, a racing
Oh
game,
my God! I had
The
football,
racing game-
Little Mermaid.
racing. I had racing.
The racing game you
I
had.
remember. I had the Little Mermaid
the
one.
Little
yes.
Mermaid game. That's the one Amy pointed out to me tonight. She's like, "Do you remember this?"
Yeah, Mandy had the Little Mermaid game.
And I remember that you could spear people.
It was a terrible game.
the
They were
best game
all
ever created.
terrible games. I think I had a Batman one. I know I had a Ninja Turtles one.
I had a Ninja Turtles one.
That
What
had to be
else?
like the parental impulse buy. Like
Absolutely.
During Christmas time, they're like, I don't have enough shit. And they're walking down the alley. They're like, I'm going to get this little Batman Tycho game for $5.
Yes, I had a Batman one too. I played the crap out of these.
And they're just
I
like,
remember the racing game. You had two options, right and left.
oh,
course.
they were awful. All of those games were awful.
super cheap, but
The Little Mermaid one was one of the better ones.
It was.
The football one was not bad.
That was the beginning of the iPad. They were getting everybody hooked.
Well, it was really just a game. It was like a Game Boy, but
Yeah, it was-
Game Boy was like a billion times better. I never had a Game Boy.
You never had a
No.
Game Boy? I had a Game Boy, and I would play NHL 95 on it all the
And then Game
time.
Boy Color came out, and I
played-
never had one of those.
I never had a Game Boy Color.
Did you
I
have
only
that
had
little?
the original.
There was a Game Boy.
My brother still has it.
One of my friends had one,
Pisses
and
me
they
off.
made a printer for it. They
Yeah.
would print.
Yep.
And
Oh, they made so many
what were you
attachments for that.
printing out? I don't even know.
I don't know. I wasn't big into the Pokemon era of Game Boy,
Maybe that's what they were
which
printing.
came out later. But the original Game Boy we had, and I would play NHL 95 all the time. I would always be the Mighty Ducks because of
The Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Because of Gordon Bombay.
Of course, Flying
He
V.
was the premier hockey player until he busted his knee up.
And the coach. I mean, premier
Well-
coach on the USA team.
Yeah, I'm talking before he busted his knee, Jerry.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Anyway, I had that. I had obviously Mario and Tetris, Donkey Kong.
Do you remember Virtual Boy?
No.
Okay. One of my
don't.
friends, my friend Victor had it. It was this
I had a-
red headset that sat on a tripod. All right.
Yeah.
It was made by Nintendo, and it was like a 3D headset,
All right.
but it was just like the green lines,
We've talked about this
but
before.
it was
We've-
three-dimensional.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
It was
where-
like the very first three-dimensional thing. It was like Star Fox, but like you were like playing Star Fox, but in this thing with just green lines.
What year did a Sega Game Gear come out? It was well before I was ever in high school.
Mid-90s.
So I had a
It
Sega
was a
Game
huge
Gear.
leap up from Game Boy.
Oh my gosh, was it ever? I got a Game Gear
I
for
had
Christmas.
One friend, Pete Philman, had a Game Gear. He was the only person I knew that had one.
I had one. Boy, I was pretty privileged as a child. Now that I think of it, and we were poor. Like my parents did not have money.
I mean, we
At
had a
all.
lot of stuff too. I'm not saying like I didn't have that. Like we had a lot of stuff. So, but
I
I never
had a-
had a Game Gear or a Game Boy. It's just not something my parents ever got.
I had a Game Gear, and I used to play a game called Primal Rage
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
on it, and it was where you fought dinosaurs. It was
Dinosaurs,
basically
yeah.
Mortal Kombat, but you fought dinosaurs against
Yeah.
each other. I played
It was
the
a dog
crap.
shit game. It really was.
Yeah, I played it all the time though, along with Sonic. Sonic was on there. I played that a lot. There was a couple other games, but I had this, and I was carrying it down the stairs from upstairs to downstairs, obviously, and I had it in its case, but I didn't have the case zipped up all the way, and it slid out the side of the case, and it tumbled end over end down the stairs, and just destroyed the Game Gear.
Oh no.
I had it for about a month, and this is what happened. Well, my parents had like a warranty on it, and my mom's like, "We'll take it back. We've got a warranty. Like we'll get a new one, or they'll fix it. Something. We'll do something about this." Like, all right. Well, we left one day after this happened, came home, and my brother was laying in the living room, and he had the entire thing taken apart. He was huge into electronics in high school, and he took the whole thing apart and was like scavenging like the motherboard out of it and the buttons and stuff for electronics projects with Mr. Appleby. Yes. Him and Mr. Appleby were like tight. And he was making all sorts of projects with Mr. Appleby, and he was taking pieces out of my Game Gear for that. And I remember getting home and my mom freaking out like, "We were going to return this." Well, not anymore. And I never had a Game Gear or anything like it
Yeah,
ever
they were
again.
probably like $400.
It was expensive at the time. They were not happy. I was devastated. My life was basically ruined. But gosh, I was so into that Game Gear. It was so good. But do you remember erector sets?
Yeah, oh yeah. Erector sets were from
There's still a thing.
Still got one.
Yeah, erector sets or Connects.
Yeah. I had. Okay, so this was one of the big of my childhood. Like every so often, every couple of years, you'd get like this, or we'd get like a big present. Mm-hmm. Like
We did the same
some
thing,
years were normal.
Yeah.
Some years you got a big present.
Yep.
Like I remember one year we got a Gateway. It was for the whole family, but we got a Gateway computer.
Sure.
And one year we got this K'NEX roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
And it was huge. I mean, if you put it all together, and we did, it was probably stood 5 feet tall, and 5 feet wide. It was a big set.
Wow.
It was a huge K'NEX set. And we put it all together, me and Mandy. We would have got it. It's like a whole family.
Yeah. In the basement or something?
Yeah, put it together in the basement. And it had a little car in it that would go around.
It did.
And never really worked great. Like it would fall off a lot.
Yeah.
It was a huge pain in the ass to make. And then we used it like once. And then you're like, obviously, like stuff falls apart. Parts fall off. They get lost.
They do.
Like, and it was just like never usable again.
So that's the thing. Like after they were built, if you lost any part of it or if something went wrong, it's not the same, We had a K'NEX set that was a car that had a motor in it, and you could it was like battery powered for the motor, and you literally had to build the motor for it.
You didn't turn it on?
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
Oh no, what happened? We lost.
I'm dead.
We lost.
That's all right. You can still
Greg's
hear
feed.
him. You just can't see Greg temporarily until his phone charges because he didn't turn on his battery.
Wow. Anyway, but it was literally a race car with a working motor in it that drove the rear wheels. So you just had to put AA batteries in it after you put it all together. But it had a physical motor in it, and it was the coolest thing I think I had ever gotten. And I remember laying on the living room floor. I remember it being around Christmas time, and I remember it being super cold and a lot of snow, and I wasn't allowed to go outside. And then I remember my mom telling me, like, you need to put this toy together because you cannot go outside right now. So I just laid there and, like, tried to figure out how to put this car together and ended up getting it to work. And then it broke very soon after that.
Yeah. I had this one thing I remember. It was these wires that you put up from one side of the room to the other. And there were these little, like, gondolas that were remote control, and they would go around on these wires, and that you would like set up. You know what a gondola is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be like a round track that you could put you could do it from this end of the room to the other end of the room because it was just on like a plastic wire,
Right.
and they'd have like little hooks that hang off the bottom, and you could go by and like pick up little balls, you know what I mean, or different things. And there were just little remote control things. And on the commercial, when we were kids in the 90s, they're ridiculous. The kids are like driving it over to the fridge and then like getting a Coke and then like driving it back. And they're like, whoa, I got a Coke. And you get one.
They're
and
like, hey, Timmy, we need the gallon of milk.
Yeah. And then you get it as a kid. You're like, oh, I'm going to set it up from my bed to the other side of the room. And then you're basically just driving it around in a circle on a track. But it was a little gondola.
Yeah. Did it have a man standing in the back with a pole?
No, a gondola.
A gondola like a ski slope one. But there's gondolas that are on a
Jerry.
waterway.
There's
too.
also a sandwich called the gondola. I mean, there's a lot of things called gondolas.
No, that's pronounced gondola. There's a difference, Chris. Let's see. We have time for maybe one more.
I'm going to find the name of that gondola thing.
All right. Here's the epitome of 90s, middle school, right? You knew you were going to have the best day ever in your class, regardless of what class it was or where you were at, when they rolled in a cart with a TV strapped to the top of it.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
That was great. And you could hear it coming down the hallway.
That's the epitome of a 90s, like, 7th grade class where Mr. Mystic rolled in. Actually, Mr. Mystic had a TV in the corner of his room. Mr. Mistake had a TV rolled in.
What was the name of his dog? Fang Dog?
I don't remember.
He had those little videos. He'd make little VHS videos
Of
Where he'd,
his
like,
dog. I know. I remember.
No, he would like record like Nova or something on
Yeah.
PBS, but he'd had this
Discovery
little clip
News
of his dog before every clip, and it would be like Fang Dog Production, and then he'd have a picture
You're
of his little
right.
dog.
You know, I was the ultimate winner of the rubber band car.
Really? I was the ultimate winner of the popsicle stick bridge.
Were you?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
You're
I
talking
always
about the
wanted-
little fan car where you'd make the rubber
Yes.
band fan. I don't think I definitely didn't win that one, but
I did. I won it.
I had a pretty good car. I stiffened some foam board with wire. That was the carriage of the
Yeah.
car, so it was really light.
Yep.
And
I don't remember what my
remember
carriage, like
I
what
remember-
the frame of the car was, but I remember having CDs for wheels.
What do you mean, user?
I remember having
Oh,
CDs for wheels, and my dad had a piece of aluminum that we cut and bent into a fan. And that aluminum fan, man, it pushed this car to the greatest success you could have, which was the ultimate winner.
Okay, so-
I beat Mr. Mystic's car.
I have a specific memory of that contest. All right. I remember building that car in my kitchen,
Yep.
working on the propeller.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with my dad, and we're working on this propeller, and I start pitching the blades
Right.
on the propeller. And we got into the biggest fight ever.
Over pitching the
Me
blades.
and, not me and my dad. Me and my dad versus my sister and my mom, because they kept saying, "Why are you pitching the blades like that?" I'm like, "Well, that's the only way it can push air."
Right. It has to.
And they're like, and they were
Grab
just
the
like,
air.
"No, they don't have to be turned to push air. That doesn't make any sense." I'm like, well, look at it just physically. Like, it's turned, so when it moves down,
It catches
the hair hits it and it goes this way. It's pushing the air. Like, just look at a ceiling fan. And
Right,
they're like, no, they can be flat.
No.
And they can push air. And I'm like,
No, they will just cut through. They will displace the air, but it'll be both directions.
And I remember it just turning into this huge argument. Like, not a fight, just an argument.
Like a fist fight
Yeah.
with your mom and your dad and your sister.
And I was just like,
all
Royal
it made no sense to me.
Rumble.
I'm like, how do you
Hell
not
in the
understand?
cell.
That it has to be pitched,
Right.
to push the air.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. I'm showing you.
I'm physically showing you. Like, we actually have ceiling fans that are doing the same thing right now. Like, you feel the air from the ceiling fan, right?
I could see Doug coming in from the top ropes and just like dropping an elbow.
I'm like, and my dad's with me, right? He's arguing with me against them.
He's like, you
I'm
ever seen a
pilot.
plane? Yeah.
I have an airplane.
And your mom,
With a
your mom
propeller.
has the Santa Claus on the
she's
thing
got
that
the-
spins around. It has the
does.
propeller.
It's got the Santa Claus play propeller thing. Yep. Anyway,
awesome.
what else you got? Or are we done?
Let's see. There was one of those stackable pencils. Do you remember these individual? They
No.
were like jointed pencils.
No.
So it was a pencil about this big, and they would stack together to make a big pencil with an eraser at the end, and you could flip it between itself to make a different like colored pencil.
No, I don't remember that.
That sounds dumb.
Those were things. Other than that, that's all I got, and we're basically out of
We're
time.
at 2 hours. Do you want
Yeah.
to quickly, what you're watching? We can't talk in depth about it. We can mention what we've been watching.
Listen up. I didn't realize that there was an 18th season of Hell's Kitchen, but there is. And I also downloaded the Peacock app. I like it.
Really?
I like Peacock.
What's on there?
It's completely free. Everything.
It's ad supported, but yeah.
It is ad supported. It's like getting Hulu,
Yeah. But free.
but for free. But everything NBC Universal has is on there. So we started watching all of the Harry Potter movies because the boys haven't
They're
seen
on
them,
HBO.
and I haven't seen them. I don't have HBO.
Oh. Well, that's dumb.
I don't have it. I've got free NBC Universal, and we can watch all of those movies. And the boys started watching them and are really into it. Grady's teacher, Mrs. Muzzarelli, is huge Harry Potter fan. So that's how we're trying
I
to
also
con
know
him.
another huge Harry Potter fan.
Harry Potter.
Who? You?
Me.
Yeah.
Your mom is too. Isn't
My
she?
mom
I
is
have
too,
it.
yeah.
I also have. I haven't seen past the second movie. I've never.
Are you
seen,
kidding me?
No,
the
we've
first
talked
two
about
are
this before.
garbage too. Anyway,
I know, and I've never. That's
The third one's
why
good.
I ended.
The third one's like the best one.
So I've never seen
The Prisoner of Azkaban.
past
My
them. and
Lily's getting into it. My daughter.
Well, Cash was really into it. I told Cash, this was like a year ago or a couple years ago, actually. I'm like,
I remember them watching.
if you watch all the Harry Potter movies, we'll go to the Harry Potter world.
Yes.
So we started watching them. And we watched through them all. And we got to like the 6th one. And then the 7th book is like 2 movies.
Yeah.
So we're like about to
last
watch that.
2
And he's like,
movies.
oh, we only got 2 movies to go and we're going to go to Harry Potter world. I'm like, I mean, like someday.
He's like, no. Immediately when I finish this movie, we are leaving.
He was like 6 at the time.
I just
Or
spent
5.
half my life watching this movie.
He was like 5 at the time. And he's like, wait, what? And I'm like, well, I mean, like someday. I just meant like we can't go unless you watch all the movies. Not like once you watch them, we're going.
Yeah, but that's the way he took it.
That's the way he took it, though, which makes sense.
It does.
And I'm like, oh, no, we're not going there. Like
He's
anytime soon.
He's like, well, I'm not finishing it, though.
I'm just saying, like, we're not going to, whatever.
He's holding mom and dad
Well,
hostage.
anyway, on the Peacock app, I had seen that Hell's Kitchen was on there. I had watched up to the 17th season and didn't realize there was another one. And I was so ecstatic.
Is that the one where they all come back?
So it's veterans versus rookies.
Oh, okay.
It's the one after that. Like
Yeah, the 17th one's where
there was an
all the old
all-star.
people, all-stars.
an
yeah.
all-star thing. And then the one after
the
that.
17th season is terrible.
I didn't mind it.
It is
It's
so
not-
over dramatic.
Yeah, it's not
ridiculous.
the greatest. But this one, so far, I've really enjoyed because I love that show so much. And I've wanted to see more of it. And it was a happy surprise that there was another season.
As soon as COVID's over, we're going to take a Snarf Talk road trip
to Hell's Kitchen restaurant.
to Las Vegas,
Yeah.
to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. That's what we're going to do.
I've never been.
Cheap flights. We can get out there quick and easy.
I've been to Vegas a few times, and I've always said I was going to go to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, and never
I went to one. We went to
Burger, but that's like a knockoff thing.
Right, and it's a chain.
It's not the, yeah.
It was fine.
He owns it, but it's like
Yeah.
not a
If you
thing.
drive to Springfield, you can fly out there for like $10.
It's super cheap. We flew last time we went out there. I think it was $100 for a round trip flight and the hotel room for 4 days
No
No
way.
way.
at Planet Hollywood. Yeah,
Not possible.
I swear to God,
Prove it. You got the receipts?
it was dirt cheap
You got them receipts?
per person.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's
has them, they're
ridiculously
itemized.
cheap.
It was basically the room was free with the flight.
It had to have been because the cheapest
It was the room. I remember the promotion. The room at Planet Hollywood was free with the flight.
with a Southwest flight or something. Because
Yeah, whatever it was.
my mom would always fly out to visit my sister in Vegas on Southwest, and if you found the right flights, like she found literally a flight from Midway for like $43.
Yeah.
That was one way.
Marley just booked. So we
1,010 to
we're
come
not
back.
we weren't planning on going. I don't know what we're doing this winter, but we weren't planning it. We didn't have no plans for vacationing or anything. So the other day she found it was $45 round trip to Orlando per person,
Holy crap!
and she in February, first week of February.
So you booked them.
She's just like, we just need to book it because
Yeah.
I don't even know. She's like $45
What?
times 5, so we're at like
$300.
$300.
Yeah.
She's like, we just need to book it. And if we don't want it, the great thing about Southwest is you can cancel it and you just get a credit.
Yeah, you can.
You don't
get
lose
a
your
credit.
money at all. There's no downside.
Well,
to book.
you won't. No, you will after a year.
After a year, you lose your credit, but we'll
Yeah.
use $300 in a year. I
sure.
mean, we'll figure out a way to use it.
Yep.
So we booked a flight to Orlando in February, and then the next day she's like,
We
so
shouldn't do
Disney
this.
was like free because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's like $150 a night to stay at Art of Animation, which is normally like $400 a night.
Okay.
So she booked that too. And I'm like, I'm not going back to Disney World. I'm telling you that right now. I'm like, I'm not doing
Yeah,
it.
you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I told her I'm not doing it.
Remember this day, Chris,
I'm
because I
not-
can't wait for the day you come back.
I'm not going back there.
You are.
No.
Yes, you are.
The only way
You don't have a choice.
There's only one.
You don't get to make it.
There's only one.
You don't have a voice.
There's only one reason why I would go. All right. My mom has been really wanting to go to
Harry Potter
World for years. And so if she says that, we'll go stay in the Disney resort and we'll just take 2 days and go over to Universal Studios and go to Harry Potter World. And if we're already there, you might as well go for a couple days to Disney.
And then Cash has to watch the last two
Yeah,
movies.
otherwise he can't step foot into the park.
Anything else you've been watching?
The Boys, I'm still watching The
Boys,
Boys,
yeah.
obviously every week.
New
and
episode tonight.
We say it every week. It's unbelievable.
The
it's
ending
ridiculous.
of the last episode, I had to stop. Like 2 days later, I told Marley, I'm like, I know you don't watch the show.
Yeah.
But I have to show you the last 5 minutes of this episode because it's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen in my entire
David
life.
Timmons called me on Monday, and I was like, I'll call you back. I've got a conference call. I'm in the middle of a conference call. Like, I'll call you back when it's done. 48 hours later, I called him back. I was like, man, longest conference call of my life. My ears are killing me. But that's what he wanted to talk about was The Boys.
The last 5 minutes?
And
The courtroom?
I don't want to give it away just in case people do want to watch it or are watching it and haven't seen that part yet. But it was just basically about the show and about Homelander and Stormfront.
Oh.
But this is a show that is nothing anything like this has ever been done before.
No.
You will never see a show that has done anything like this before. It's extremely graphic at times, but it's
crazy.
messed up.
Have you seen this show?
The Voice?
The Boys.
The Boys. No.
Boys. You need
on Amazon.
to watch it.
You have to see this show.
You need to watch this. Yes, it does revolve around superheroes, but it is.
I mean, it does, but it's not.
Those are the main characters.
Yeah, but it's not a superhero story.
But it's not a. No, it's
the
not.
superheroes are the bad guys, and it's like if Superman existed in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And he worked for a corporation that was politically, like they were trying to get to be a part of the military.
Like the government is making him a military thing.
Contractor.
But they are contracted.
But this guy, Superman, exists in this world, and he works, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's a god.
Basically. And that's the way I portrayed it.
He just has
like,
no humanity in him whatsoever. I mean,
But if you think about it, like when you have all of these abilities and you've done this for so long, nothing gives you joy anymore until you start doing these weird things. Like you can do anything you physically want. So at that point, you start like overreaching and doing these crazy weird things.
So somebody actually took made a show that
based off a comic book,
right? Off a comic book, but around the thing that everybody always thinks about is if I was a superhero, I would be doing this kind of shit.
you
but
have to watch
but
this show.
morally wrong
It's
and like
so-
not right.
It's so
Okay.
disturbing, dude.
He likes to drink breast milk. I'll tell you
Okay,
that.
well,
You guys are not pitching this very well.
no, disturbing in a good way. Like honestly,
He does.
It's so shocking. You've never seen anything like it. You have to watch this show. I want to tell him some of the things that happen, but I can't. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, we can tell him some off air,
Yeah. Well,
So
I
that's
don't,
it.
I don't
That's
want
all
to
I-
spoil it for him.
but that's all I've watched.
Like the plane
Well,
scene.
don't spoil it.
Oh my god,
The plane scene.
Plain scene.
Oh my gosh.
And the first season is just messed up.
And then also the end of the last episode.
Yes.
In that courtroom. Holy shit.
I know.
I've never seen anything like that. I had to show it to Marley. I'm like, you have never seen anything like this. It's so fucked up. And she watched it and she's just like, what?
Why are you
With
watching
no
this?
context, right? She's just like, what is this? And I'm like,
I don't know.
Why are you watching?
I don't
And
know.
you said,
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what this is.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Not like scary, not like horror, just shocking.
Have you watched anything?
Yes, there is 2 shows I've been watching. One I went on a long, hard, deep dive into, and it's a new show on Amazon
Okay.
called Utopia.
Right.
And it's starring Rainn Wilson
like him a lot. I didn't know he was in it.
and John Cusack
Wow.
is in it, and some other people you've seen before, but not as big of actors. Those are the main not the main characters. John Cusack's actually the bad guy in it, and Rainn Wilson doesn't come in until the 3rd episode. But it's one of these shows that like I totally got sucked into. I watched it over the course of a week. It's only 8 episodes for the first season. It's not being reviewed very well. I don't know if it'll get a second season, but I actually really enjoyed it. I got sucked into it hardcore. There's problems for sure with it. Like there's some like just logistical problems that don't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
And also like the main character, I guess. There's kind of a main group of characters, but one of those characters is extremely unlikable.
Oh.
And it's also very disturbing at times. It's not horror by any means. Mm-hmm. It's more like at times it's funny, but a lot of times it's more just like a kind of a mystery, like conspiracy.
I like that
type thing. And it's basically all centered around a pandemic. Flu virus.
Interesting.
Which this all was made way before coronavirus. And the flu virus that is causing this pandemic was created in a lab from a bat.
Wow. This was a BBC show.
It was. It's originally a BBC show, and it was adapted by Amazon for an American audience. It's worth watching. I recommend watching it if you like that kind of thing. So the idea behind it is there's a pharmaceutical company. Let's just put that there.
Okay.
There's a pandemic virus situation going on. Let's put that there.
Yeah.
And the third situation is there's this extremely cult comic book called Dystopia. Okay. And there's like cons about it. And there's these people, this group of friends that have only met each other online that are hardcore into this because they believe that this dystopia comic book is like predicting the demise of civilization.
Sure.
All right. And they're all waiting for this comic book, the follow-up, Utopia, which is going to... So Dystopia, the comic book, talks about the demise of like everything. And Utopia is supposed to be like the salvation.
Right.
So they're all waiting for this Utopia comic book. And it's super obscure. It's like there was one copy, but like it has garnered this huge cult following. And this copy of Utopia comes to light. And the character in the comic book, the creator of the comic book, it was based on his real life. All right. Which you don't know it at the time initially. But the main character of the comic book is his daughter, who exists in the real world. And everything he wrote into this comic book is real. Is happening. And this comic book describes the descent of the world, basically, because of this. Mr. Rabbit is the bad guy, like creating all these viruses.
Sounds terrible.
That are ravaging the world. And this is actually what starts to happen. And then you start to find the connections between the comic book, the viral pandemic, and this pharmaceutical company. And then it's kind of a conspiracy.
Interesting.
And it's good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Rainn Wilson's great in it. John Cusack is weird at first, but then it actually becomes really good in it as well. And the ending, there's twists all along, but the ending is a huge twist. Huge twist. The only thing that I would say is like the main character kind of is just Jessica, who's the main character in the comic book. And then this group of people that are like nerds for the comic book get sucked in, and then you actually meet the real Jessica. That's like the subject of the book.
And are let down.
Well, she's just a very unlikable character.
Oh.
They're all unlikable characters, frankly. But I enjoyed it a lot. I would recommend people like it if they would get into that kind of thing. So Utopia on Amazon, and then I've also been still watching Star Trek. The new first season of Star Trek Discovery.
Okay.
On CBS All Access, which is great.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
It's really good.
You watch anything, Greg?
Nope.
You don't watch anything?
Not really.
Nothing.
I mean, all the shows that I have been watching are off air and stuff like that. But the Utopia, I don't know. I've looked at that show. I don't know how many times thinking, do I get into it?
Well, that's how I felt too. I'm like, seems like a lot to bite off.
Right.
Yeah.
It does, and it is. But
it's a job.
It's not a job. I mean, it's pretty light. As heavy as it sounds, Like
Yeah.
it's very enjoyable to watch. The crazy thing is like, so John Cusack is the head of this pharmaceutical company, which these are kind of spoilers, but not a huge deal. But like, there's this whole cult that he's created,
Okay.
like this doomsday cult,
Yeah.
essentially. It's a cool show and concept. There are clearly like problems with it, but it was a quick watch. To watch 8 1-hour episodes, I mean, I feel like I don't have any time right now, and it just went immediately.
All right.
Like I'd turn it on at 10 o'clock at night, and I'd watch it till
watch it.
2 in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'd just
Yeah,
be like, all right, I don't really want to turn it off, but I have to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Now all the series type shows that I have been watching, I guess I'm kind of in the middle of finding what my next one is. So I'll start watching that.
Nice. Well, I think that's the episode.
I
That's
think
it.
this right here, I think you guys need to send this out, or have you already?
So that was
I like this. I want one.
Yeah, that was made by a fan, Craig Blazekovich. He made those. He asked for stickers. I gave him stickers, and he created these out of them.
Yeah, I want this. I want one.
Made them for us. So I'll have to ask Craig to see if he can make more coasters for us.
I like that.
So we have coasters made from Craig out of our stickers, and they are great.
And if you want a sticker, head on over to patreon.com/snarfcomics. Support the show for just $1 a month. You get stickers. Anytime we make a new sticker, you just get one.
You get one.
For $5 a month, you get extra bonus podcasts, and then it goes up from there. So for Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I'm Howdy.
I am Jerry.
See ya.
Bye.